Chapter 86. After 2008, there were not many ways to make a lot of money. The two worlds had different structures, but the general trend of development was still the same. In the next 10 years, when it came to making money, it would not be outside of real estate, the internet, smartphones, and their derivative industries. Fong Ping did not have the qualifications to do real estate. It was unrealistic. Right now, he could not even speculate in real estate. He only had slightly more than 6 million on hand. In a world with martial artists, it was even more difficult to get involved in real estate. Fong Ping was not qualified yet. Phone manufacturing had nothing to do with Fong Ping. Smartphones had already appeared, and others were already producing them. Fong Ping could not enter. The internet was relatively easier, and the requirements to enter were lower. As for the restrictions on martial artists, it was insignificant in Magic City. Aspiring martial artists could not cross cities. Besides, Fong Ping was enjoying the treatment of a rank 1 martial artist. There were no such restrictions. As for rank for martial artists and above crossing provinces, it was too early for Fong Ping. However, the internet required a certain amount of technology. It was not something that could be done just because one wanted to. In terms of online shopping, although Little Tanuki was not very famous, the scale was not small. Rumor had it that Old Ma had broken through to rank 7. Doing online shopping now was not a dead end, but it was difficult to make it big. Of course, he could find another way and do branded online shopping similar to Weipin Club. However, this was not feasible for Fong Ping. He did not have that kind of channel. Brand agents were complicated and could not be solved in a short time. Other things such as internet finance, social media, online games, search engines, online videos, without exception, none of them were suitable for Fong Ping now. Fong Ping had thought about what he should do next for a long time. After his rebirth, he had started planning. Thinking back to the tycoons who became famous after 2008 in his past life, Fong Ping realized that there were very few tycoons who rose after 2008. Among them, the more famous ones were the two who did online food delivery. Whether it was Hungry Man or Matewan, the founders of these two companies only started after 2008. In the beginning, they did not have much capital and started from scratch. In a few short years, they had accumulated a lot of wealth. Of course, it was more literal wealth. Apart from online food ordering platforms, another industry that rose after 2008 that did not require much technology and was not difficult to start was the express delivery industry. The express delivery industry was closely related to online catering platforms. The rise of the express delivery industry was inseparable from the development of online shopping. Currently, Little Tanuki's person was still in hibernation. Fong Ping knew that Little Tanuki's online shopping platform would make waves in this country very soon. Currently, Fong Ping had never thought of fighting against big and small horses. He was afraid that he would be smacked to death by grandmasters. However, he still understood the logic of following the footsteps of the big shots and taking advantage of the situation. In the future, in addition to real estate and the internet, the rich people on the list would also be ranked at the top in the field of express delivery and logistics, especially e-commerce logistics. At that time, there were quite a number of express delivery companies in Shanghai. However, most of these companies still focused on normal express deliveries. Logistics companies mainly focused on bulk transportation. There wasn't a single company that focused on e-commerce. Fong Ping pondered for a long time. E-commerce logistics and F&B platforms were his top choices. The entry requirements were not high, and there was no need to spread out all at once. They could lay low and develop in Shanghai first. And when the conditions were right, they could spread out to the whole country at any time. Express delivery and F&B did not have to exist independently. They could complement each other. They could also be run as physical businesses, including F&B platforms. They could be run as physical economies, and there was no need to spread out too much at once. First, he could set up a few express delivery points, hire some couriers, and build a simple localized fast food ordering platform. These did not cost too much, so Fong Ping could still support them. If possible, he could talk to Little Tanuki at the Magic City office about accepting e-commerce express delivery. But this was not possible for now. Currently, Fong Ping was not a martial artist. His social status was not high enough. If you want to talk to them about cooperation, they might not even care. However, When he became a martial artist, with the identity of a Magic City Martial Arts University student, he could look for them and take the initiative to cooperate. They probably would not mind having another express delivery company to work with. Currently, all the major express delivery and logistics companies had a stronger relationship with Little Tanuki. After all, the e-commerce business was very small, and everyone was the type that did not care. However, this situation would change soon. Fong Ping had to reach an agreement with Little Tanuki before the other companies adjusted their focus and become their important business partner in Magic City. With the direction in mind, Fong Ping did not hesitate. The next day, Fong Ping borrowed the hotel's car. He did not let the other party drive and drove out of the hotel. Although he did not have a driver's license, Fong Ping was not worried. He told Li Qingze that he did not have a driver's license, but Li Qingze told him that he only needed to show Fong Ping's martial arts license if they found out. Although the martial arts license could not replace a driver's license, as long as there were no accidents, he would not be put in a difficult position. Of course, if anything happened, Fong Ping would be fully responsible. Having a martial arts license had this advantage. Fong Ping, who considered himself an experienced driver, naturally would not let others drive. He drove his own car and went out. Fong Ping's first choice was the university town. As one of the 6 districts in Magic City, the university town had a large population and was close to the school, making it convenient for Fong Ping to do things. Although Magic City Martial Arts University was the leader of the university town, martial arts university students were still the minority. The entire university town was mostly made up of normal students. This was also Fong Ping's target group. Ordering fast food and online shopping were things that university students could easily accept. White-collar workers and university students were the 2 types of people who were the most receptive to new things. Moreover, online shopping had been around for a few years and was no longer considered a new thing. In a metropolis like Magic City, many students had already started online shopping. In a small city like Sun City, Fong Ping doing this kind of business was no different from seeking death. In Magic City, however, it was most suitable. There were a total of 64 universities of various sizes in the university town. There were professional martial arts schools like Magic City Martial Arts University, East Sino Nation Normal University, and Magic City Jiaotong University that had a martial sciences department, and there were also universities that were purely social sciences. Normal social sciences universities had the most students. There could be 20 to 30,000 students in 4 batches. Including teachers, family members, and employees, it was normal for a university to have 40 to 50,000 people. Even Magic City Martial Arts University had close to 10,000 people. The 64 universities were gathered together, resulting in the university town's total population of close to 2 million students and teachers. It was comparable to the total population of a prefecture-level city. This was still a school. Because of the concentration of schools, it was inevitable that other derivative industries were born here. The business atmosphere was also very developed. There were not many high-end commercial places because students were not the main consumers. However, there were countless normal commercial stores. According to statistics, the entire university town had a total population of more than 4.8 million. This was 10 times the population of Sun City, a university town with close to 5 million people. To Fong Ping, there was no better place to do business than this. On the 1st of August, Fong Ping drove around the university town. He also had a basic understanding of the distribution of the various universities. If the university town was considered as a whole, Magic City Martial Arts University was located in the south of the university town, near the coast. In reality, Magic City Martial Arts University covered an area of 30,000 mu. From the inside, one could really see the sea. It was just that Fong Ping did not know about it yet. There were more than 10 universities near Magic City Martial Arts University. Most of them were social sciences universities. Martial arts universities were usually located further away, perhaps because they rejected each other. The more than 10 universities had more than 300,000 students and teachers' family members. Being near Magic City Martial Arts University made it even more convenient for Fong Ping. Due to the limited funds, Fong Ping did not plan to take down the university town in one go. He would start from the south of the university town and slowly nibble away. I'll rent a slightly bigger office for the construction of the food and beverage platform and use it as a temporary headquarters. There are more than 10 universities, and they're spread out widely. To cover all of them, I'll need to set up at least 5 distribution points. One distribution point will be responsible for the business of 3 universities. In terms of recruitment, one distribution point will be responsible for 3 universities. The standard requirement is at least 10 people or more. One office, 5 distribution points, 50 delivery employees. Maybe I can reduce it a little. Isn't 50 people a little too much? In the car, Fong Ping drove in search of a suitable location while thinking about what he should do next. The standard of living in Magic City was very high, and the wages and benefits were not low either. In Sun City, 800 yuan could be used to recruit people. In Magic City, even at this time, there were not many people who worked for low-level jobs that cost less than 3,000 yuan. Even if it was calculated at 3,000 yuan, just the salary of a delivery person would be 150,000 yuan a month. Other than that, there would be customer service, receptionists, technicians needed to build the platform, operational staff in the later stages, and the marketing department in charge of developing the market. The early stage would be simple and crude. The finance, supervision, products, research and development, logistics, and manpower could all be dispensed with. However, Fong Ping felt that they would need at least 20 people to set up the stage. Back then, Hungry Guy could have done it with just a few people, but the other party was only testing the operation in one school. Plus, Fong Ping did not want to waste too much energy on this, so he could only hire more people to satisfy his needs. These 20 people would need an average salary of 5,000 yuan. Just the salary alone would cost more than 250,000 yuan a month. Actually, the salary was not a big deal. In a pure IT industry, the employee's salary took up a large proportion. What Fong Ping wanted to do was not a pure IT industry, so the salary could only be counted as about 40% of the cost. In other words, he would need to spend more than 600,000 yuan a month. Moreover, the early stage would be even more. After all, the rent was rarely paid on a monthly basis, and quarterly payments were the shortest. There was also the deposit. Perhaps in a month, he would use up all the 1.6 million he had on hand. In the early stage, it would be difficult for these businesses to make much money. After all, he had not taken on any business, and the market needed to be developed. Should I join a delivery company? Fong Ping thought for a while. If he joined, he could quickly open up the market and take on business. Other than the additional joining fee, the return of funds would be even faster. However, if he joined, it would be difficult for him to build up his reputation. Fong Ping did not want to keep working for someone else. Whatever. I'll choose a location first. After confirming the location, I'll start recruiting people. Also, I need someone smart enough to be the CEO when I'm not around. It was easy to find other people. Magic City might be short of everything, but it was not short of people. If he went to the job market, he could find as many people as he wanted. However, those who had the ability to be the CEO depended on luck. If luck was not good, Fong Ping could only find someone slightly more reliable, and he would have to spend more energy to manage them. After a day, Fong Ping looked around the southern part of the university city a few times. After confirming the general location of the distribution point and office, the next step was to wait for the official start of work. I'll finish the preliminary preparations in a month and start advertising when school starts. I need to recoup my losses as soon as possible. I don't know if 1.6 million is enough, and I don't know if I can get a loan. At night, Fong Ping returned to the hotel and cultivated as usual. Then he started planning and designing recruitment advertisements. Everything was difficult at the beginning. Fong Ping was not afraid of hard work. Success was not easy. He did not want to be like old Wang, who came to Magic City Martial Arts University to make a scene and run around doing missions just for a little bit of resources. He could do missions, but running around for 100 or 200,000 yuan was actually a waste of time. This was just the beginning. When his martial arts rank was higher, the consumption would be even greater. When that time came, would simply completing missions be enough to satisfy his needs? Which Grandmaster did not have a large amount of social resources in their hands? Martial arts strength did not depend on talent. It also depended on other abilities, such as the ability to make money. If one could not make money, then they could work for the government. However, the government did not need simple thugs. Strength was one aspect of the governor's abilities, but they also had extremely strong management abilities. Being able to manage a province well was the reason why they were able to obtain resources. Gene Kimming, for example, lacked this ability and was almost fired. Martial arts did not exist alone. Humans needed to eat, drink, and poop, even more so for martial artists. Advancing in unison was the foundation for martial artists to become stronger and stronger. Old Wang will probably work for the government in the future, right? This thought surfaced in Fong Ping's mind. He had no such plans, which was why he was running his own business now. Chapter 87. In the next few days, Fong Ping ran around. He negotiated the rental of the shop and the office. The shop was only 30 square meters, and it was not in a good commercial location. The landlord asked for $9,000 a month and a year's rent. The cheaper price was $100,000 a year. Fong Ping planned to set up 5 distribution points, which would cost him $500,000. The rent for the office was expensive too. Fong Ping chose an old commercial building not far from Magic City Martial Arts University. It was not in a good location, and Fong Ping did not care about it. An office of 200 square meters cost $18,000 a month, and the annual fee was cheaper too, $200,000 a year. As for the rent, after Fong Ping took out his temporary martial arts license, the companies gave him a slight discount. The annual fee was changed to half a year, but it still cost $300,000 a year. The companies also gave him a rent-free period to renovate, and the fees would officially start on September 1st. As for the renovations, Fong Ping did not plan to do much. He bought some shelves, some computers, rewired the wiring, and bought some materials. He used the excuse of joining a company to ask about the situation of a few big companies, and the total cost was about $200,000. Just the shop and materials alone would cost more than $500,000. If he wanted to open for business as soon as possible, hiring people to bring their own cars would not work. He would have to buy his own cars. 50 cars, even if it was cheaper, would still cost $200,000. The other monthly utilities, phone bills, fuel bills, and wages added up to more than $300,000 a month. Adding the registration fees, startup fees, and publicity fees, the total cost would be tens of thousands. He also had to prepare some liquid funds. By August 15th, Fong Ping had finished the initial preparations and set aside some funds for backup. Including the next month's wages and expenses, he had spent up to $1 million. This was the result of his frequent use of his provisional martial arts license. Similarly, it was also the result of not having a joining fee. With the situation, the joining fee would be at least a few $100,000 a year. Without the joining fee, Fong Ping could save some money. However, Fong Ping would be faced with a problem if he saved this money. If he chose to join, he could directly take over the existing brand system by contracting the area. However, if he did not join, although no one would give him trouble for the time being, he had to open up the market himself. Whether or not he could receive business, whether or not he could increase his reputation, it all depended on him. If he could not break even in 2 months, the money he had left would be used up, and he would enter bankruptcy. Other than the reserve funds, Fong Ping still had $500,000 left. Even if he did not use it himself, it would only last him 2 or 3 months. In fact, it would be less because he was still preparing to build the website. Perhaps by October, he would be bankrupt. On this day, Fong Ping returned exhausted once again. Li Qingze was talking to someone in the hall. As soon as he saw Fong Ping, he jogged over with a face full of smiles and greeted, "Mr. Fong, you're back. Should I arrange dinner now?" Fong Ping had been staying at the hotel for half a month, and Li Qingze had also been sucking up to him for half a month. His attitude had been as enthusiastic as ever, even if he did not earn a single cent from Fong Ping. In reality, the Magic Martial Hotel did not focus on making money. It was fine as long as it could maintain its own expenses. Fong Ping glanced at him. Li Qingze was the first person he had met who had some management skills after coming to Magic City. Moreover, Li Qingze was slick in his dealings. As a housekeeping manager, he was doing very well. Even the hotel manager could not compare to him. He had some ability. These few days, Fong Ping had been having a headache about management. He had not hired anyone yet. When he did, the training and induction work alone would drive him crazy. Now that he had seen Li Qingze, Fong Ping's heart skipped a beat. After some thought, he said, "Manager Li, if you're not busy, why don't we have a meal and chat later?" Li Qingze was overjoyed when he heard that Fong Ping wanted to have a meal with him. After half a month of sucking up to Fong Ping, it was a pity that Fong Ping left early and returned late, so they did not meet often. Now that Fong Ping was treating him to a meal, it was obvious that his persistent efforts had paid off. Half an hour later, in the restaurant on the third floor, Li Qingze had arrived early. As soon as Fong Ping arrived, Li Qingze quickly pulled out a chair for him and said with a smile, "Mr. Fong, please have a seat. I just went to the F&B department to take a look. There's a new batch of fresh seafood. Mr. Fong, please try it later and see if it's to your liking. You're welcome." Fong Ping thanked him and did not reject Li Qingze's hospitality. He sat down as Li Qingze served him. "Have a seat, Manager Li. I've caused you trouble for the past half a month. It's no trouble at all. This is what we should do. Magic Martial Hotel has always been catering to people like you, Mr. Fong." Li Qingze hurriedly gestured that it was what he should do, then sat down carefully. Fong Ping was not in a hurry to get down to business. He allowed Li Qingze to start the conversation and talk about some interesting anecdotes that had nothing to do with current politics. In MCMEU, the busiest time of the start of every school year is when the new students enter the university. You've just arrived in Magic City, so you might not know this. We've seen it many times. The admission of new students in martial arts universities is different from that of normal universities. You should also know that when martial arts university students are enrolled, they are not separated into schools, classes, or instructors. Fong Ping nodded and said, "I've only just found out that martial arts universities are also divided into schools. That Qin Feng Qing from before was from the School of Weaponry. That's where the problem lies." Li Qingze smiled and said, "Why aren't they assigned in advance?" "That's because martial arts university students are very young. After a summer vacation, earth-shattering changes can happen. Some students have barely reached MCMAU standards. They don't know pole standing, the methods of honing, and it's impossible for them to cultivate combat techniques. Some students are already martial artists. Naturally, these students can't be put together to learn together. Teaching them according to their aptitude is MCMAU style. A few months is enough for a lot of changes to happen. If it's decided in advance, some students with a vitality of 130 calories might become martial artists in a few months. That's why a group test will only be conducted when school starts. Which school, which class, and which instructor to follow will be determined at this time." Fong Ping understood what he meant. He chuckled and said, "You're saying that there will be some differences when it comes to the assignment?" "That's for sure. How can martial arts students be the same as normal students?" Li Qingze smiled again and said, "Of course, a twice-honed prospective martial artist like you will be more popular than normal martial arts students. Mr. Fong, you can't ignore this. There's a big difference in which school, which class, and which instructor to follow." Li Qingze said seriously, "MCMEU doesn't have many schools. There are 4 in total. The School of Weaponry, the School of Tactics and Strategy, the School of Production, and the School of Social Sciences." Fong Ping was slightly surprised. "Is that how it's divided? I thought—" He did not finish, but Li Qingze understood. "You're talking about martial artists who don't use weapons, right? Whether martial artists use weapons or not doesn't make much of a difference. It's up to the individual. Students who focus on actual combat will usually choose the School of Weaponry. It's called the School of Weaponry, but it doesn't matter if you learn cold weapons or not. Students from the School of Weaponry focus on actual combat. Tactics and strategy are easy to understand. Some of these students will join the military or politics, so they need to have a certain level of guidance. The School of Production refers to the manufacturing field related to martial artists. Creating pills, creating weapons, and even improving cultivation methods are the main subjects of the School of Production. As for the School of Social Sciences, Li Qingze paused and said, "After all, not everyone is suitable for actual combat. MCMU doesn't force them. Some students just want to increase their ranks and obtain certain privileges. These people might choose the School of Social Sciences. Most of them will enter businesses or politics and become clerical workers. Li Qing's words reminded Fang Ping of many people, including people like Jean Kemming. Very quickly, Li Qing's explained, the School of Social Sciences is also the worst school in MCMAU. The resources allocated are very little, and the instructors aren't strong. Even though they say they don't focus on actual combat techniques or compulsory courses, they're still much stronger than casual martial artists. It's just that compared to the martial artists in the School of Weaponry, who have truly experienced bloodshed, they're much weaker. In MCMAU, the School of Weaponry also has the most resources allocated and the strongest instructors. Even if some people are really afraid of actual combat, they still want to enter the School of Weaponry. That's why the allocation of classes in the school becomes a hot topic at the start of the semester. Based on strength? Fang Ping asked. Li Qing's nodded. Yes. Vitality and past results are not looked at. When you enter MCMAU, strength is the main focus. When the semester starts, there's a building inside MCMAU called the Building of Practical Training. When the time comes, the Building of Practical Training will open to 4 floors. Each floor can accommodate 400 people. Each floor represents a school. You can go to whichever school you want to go to. After the students enter, the building will be closed and will open in an hour. Whoever stays on that floor will be the student of that school. So violent? Fang Ping was dumbfounded. He could not help but ask, does this mean that there's a possibility of violence in order to get the floor? Li Qing's laughed dryly. There is. Of course, you can also use vitality outbursts to intimidate others. However, many people don't have high vitality, so they end up going to the School of Weaponry. Every year when the building opens, there are many students with bruises and swollen faces. Isn't that a little unfair? Fang Ping asked again. Once the door closed, there would be more than 1,000 people inside. Even a student like Fang Ping, who had actual combat ability, could be surrounded and attacked. Li Qingzi did not quite agree. He explained with a smile, actually, it's still relatively fair. Those who can enter MCMAU are all smart people. If they really have the strength, no one will deliberately provoke you. There's no need to fight to the death for the 400 places. Moreover, everyone comes from all over the country. If someone can really form a team right after entering school, it's also a sign of strength. The school will also favor these kinds of students. The chances of them entering the School of Tactics and Strategy are higher. The School of Tactics and Strategy is no worse than the School of Weaponry. As a subsidiary of Magic City Martial Arts University, Li Qingzi often received some students' parents. It was close to the school, so he was allowed to enter and leave the school. Therefore, he knew a lot about Magic City Martial Arts University, at least more than Fang Ping. Originally, Fang Ping only wanted to chat with him and start a conversation. Now, Fang Ping was interested. He was not in a hurry to talk about poaching people, but asked about the internal affairs of the school. The division of schools was the biggest event at the start of school. After that, it was the assignment of classes and instructors. Martial sciences was different from social sciences. A social sciences teacher could teach a few hundred people, while a martial sciences instructor could teach 10 or 20 people at most. If there were fewer, an instructor could only teach 5 or 6 people. Moreover, the strength of the instructors in martial arts universities was different. There were rank 4 and above, and there were also rank 6 instructors. In basic teaching, the strength of the instructor did not make a big difference. However, powerful instructors had a lot of resources. They might be running a business outside, or they might have some extraordinary connections. They could give you an extra, safe way to earn money. They might even find you pleasing to the eye and give you some gifts or investments. These are all very likely. A rank 6 instructor. His friends might be governors of various places or CEOs of multinational conglomerates. It was difficult for a rank 4 instructor to come into contact with that level. Everyone might have the same starting point, and the school's allocations were the same, but in private, it was completely different. All of this would be chosen when school started. Instructors could choose the students they wanted to teach, and the students could choose the instructors they wanted to follow. This was similar to postgraduate and doctoral students applying for a social sciences university. Your instructor was a world-renowned PhD professor. There was a huge difference between them and a normal professor. For the former, the school and government would fight to give you money for your projects. For the latter, applying for a bit of research and development funding would be a headache. It was the same for martial arts universities, or rather, society as a whole. The instructors showed their value, and the students had to show their ability and value. After talking to Li Qingze for a long time, Fong Ping concluded, in other words, if you want to enter the School of Weaponry, you have to choose the best class and the strongest instructor. Is that what you mean? Li Qingze smiled quickly. Mr. Fong's conclusion is very accurate. However, if you're interested in commanding a team, you can choose the School of Tactics. The School of Production sounds great, but it involves monopolized industries. This isn't something that can be broken by individual students. Under normal circumstances, they'll enter these enterprises to work. They're considered the reserves of state-owned enterprises. Fong Ping was initially interested in the School of Production. He had long felt the huge profits from medicinal pills. However, he also knew that it was not that easy. As expected, Li Qingze's words confirmed this point. Industries that involve martial artists manufacturing were almost all monopolized industries. Students from the School of Production could enter these industries after they graduated. It was considered a guaranteed income. However, Fong Ping was not too interested in just working for others. The School of Social Sciences was out of the question. The School of Tactics and Strategy. Fong Ping thought about it. This was more suitable for government organizations, so he was not too interested. After some consideration, the School of Weaponry became his only choice. Chapter 88. Li Qingze was a smart man. Reading people's expressions was a basic skill for people like him. When Fong Ping invited him to dinner, he knew that Fong Ping wanted to talk to him about something. These days, Fong Ping left early and returned late. He was extremely busy, and Li Qingze had seen it all. However, if a martial artist's private affairs were not mentioned, he should not pry. This was the experience he had gained from years of experience in society. When Fong Ping stopped talking and was about to speak, Li Qingze knew that the main topic had come. Manager Li, you must have worked for many years to be a manager at Magic Martial Hotel, right? I've been at Magic Martial Hotel for 8 years. Li Qingze said everything he knew with a smile. I graduated from Magic City University of Finance and Economics 8 years ago and entered Magic Martial Hotel right after. I was promoted to Magic Martial Hotel's housekeeping manager 3 years ago. His words revealed many things. He had worked for 5 years before becoming the housekeeping manager. After becoming the housekeeping manager, there were no signs of promotion for 3 years. Magic Martial Hotel was luxurious, but no matter how luxurious it was only an inconspicuous business under Magic City Martial Arts University. It was an internal business used to entertain students' parents, and its importance was very low. Fong Ping had gained some understanding of Magic Martial Hotel's personnel system in the past few days. General Manager, Deputy General Manager, Department Director, Department Manager, Senior Supervisor, Supervisor, Staff. Li Qingze, who had graduated from Magic City University of Finance and Economics, had a decent education. Li Qingze was not a martial artist. He had become the housekeeping manager through his own abilities. Flattery was also a skill. He had spent 8 years as a 4th-level middle manager in this insignificant internal hotel, and he was not very outstanding. Actually, Fong Ping had already determined that Li Qingze did not have any background. From the first day they met, the Annie at the reception had not been very polite to him. Perhaps it was not impoliteness, but a kind of snub. That Annie was someone with a real background. To be able to hold a position in Magic City Martial Arts University, even if it was just an off-staff member, was not easy. Li Qingze was also too polite to Fong Ping, a potential martial artist, as if he was afraid that Fong Ping did not know that he was flattering him. Fong Ping was not a martial artist yet. He was just one of thousands of students. All of this could explain many things. Fong Ping heard these meaningful words and did not beat around the bush. He asked directly, Manager Li, how much is your annual salary? 150,000. It's not bad, but in a big city like Shanghai, 150,000 yuan is not worth mentioning. Fong Ping asked, how much is the department director's annual salary? 300,000, twice as much as us. Manager Li, how long do you think you need to become a department director? Li Qingze forced a smile and said, if we're lucky, about 3 years. If it's a little longer, there should be hope for 5 years. Although I don't have any background, I work hard and do things seriously. None of my colleagues say anything bad about me. Even the general manager approves of me. When Manager Li becomes the director, he will be almost 40 years old. How many years would it take to become a deputy general manager? Where's the general manager? Fang Ping smiled and said, maybe if everything goes smoothly, you can become the general manager of a hotel when you're 50 years old. However, Magic Martial Hotel was only an insignificant part of Magic City Martial Arts University. So what if he became the general manager? I think most of the students who graduated from MCMAU would have a higher starting point than this. That's the truth. After all, martial artists are different from us. Li Qingze did not deny it. After thinking for a while, he said, that's why I'm preparing to apply for the martial arts training classes under MCMAU after a few years, when I've saved enough money and strive to become a martial artist. How long does it take to save up for the martial arts class? In another 2 or 3 years. 2 or 3 years later, I'll be in my 30s. My vitality will drop drastically, and I'll barely be able to achieve rank 1. This time, Li Qingze did not continue the conversation. Instead, he went straight to the point and said, if Mr. Fang has any requests, please feel free to speak. Over the past few days, he hadn't had much interaction with Mr. Fang. But from our brief interaction, Mr. Fang gave me a very special impression. This uniqueness came from Fang Ping's maturity and experience. This was not a senior student from MCMAU. He was a young man who had just graduated from high school. However, if they did not look at his ID and his youthful looks, who would believe that Fang Ping was 18 years old? Li Qingze felt that he might not even be as mature as Fang Ping when he was 28. In addition, he was twice honed and was neither arrogant nor hot-tempered. He was extremely polite, even to ordinary waiters. Who would believe that such a person would not have a bright future? Oftentimes, one could see the big picture from the small. This was the main reason why Li Qingze's flattery did not diminish. Fang Ping no longer played dumb. He said, I didn't come to MCMAU just to study for 4 years. The higher the level of martial arts, the more resources are consumed, and the more extravagant the expenses are. I don't want to wait until I've graduated to prepare and plan. That's why I want to start my own business these few days. After briefly explaining his situation, Fang Ping said with a sincere expression, this is my first time in Magic City. I'm not familiar with the people and the place. You're the one I've interacted with the most, Manager Li. Right now, my company is just an empty shell, and my funds are extremely limited. You can say that a company like this is not worth joining. At least, it's not worth mentioning to someone like you, who already earns $150,000 a year and has hopes of reaching $300,000 a year soon. However, I'm lacking a manager who can share my burden. Magic City Martial Arts University is about to start school. Once that happens, I'm afraid I won't have much time to waste on this. That's why I need a manager who is capable, experienced, and trustworthy enough to help me. Having said that, Fang Ping pressed his hands together. Without giving Li Qingze a chance to speak, he continued, I've only mentioned my disadvantages. Now let's talk about my advantages. Firstly, I'm a student of MCMAU, a twice-honed potential martial artist. Very soon, I'll be able to become a rank 1 martial artist. I'm even confident that I can achieve rank 3 before my sophomore year. Li Qingze nodded slightly. This was the truth, and he did not deny it. A twice-honed martial artist had hopes of achieving rank 3 within a year. Of course, it was just hope. Not everyone was like Wang Jinyang. Secondly, I'm the one who took the initiative to look for you. That means I have a favor to ask of you. If you agree, then this will be the most difficult period for me. You'll be sending charcoal in the snow. Other things aside, a favor from a rank 3 martial artist in a year is still valuable. You won't deny it, right, Manager Li? I won't deny it. A favor from a rank 3 martial artist is more valuable than you think, Mr. Fang. Thirdly, it doesn't matter if the company has a future or not. No one will believe empty promises. However, I can promise you that within 3 years, I'll make sure that you become a martial artist without paying any price. There's no registration fee, and there's no need to buy pills. I think that my promise as a Magic City student should be trustworthy. It's worth it, Li Qingzi said with certainty. I wouldn't dare to take a promise from a normal martial arts university seriously, but a promise from an outstanding student from MCMAU is something I absolutely trust. This guy was too cooperative, so cooperative that Fong Ping thought he had already agreed. Unexpectedly, Li Qingzi said awkwardly, Mr. Fong, I agree with everything you've said. Just like you said, I can't be sure about the company's future, but what you've promised me now is enough for me to serve you for 3 years. What about after 3 years? After 3 years, if your company can't make it, forgive me if I have to say something harsh. Yes, I'll be a martial artist by then, but I'll have to start all over again. Although I'll have a higher starting point. Starting as a martial artist, I'm a little hesitant to give up a career that I've been working on for 8 years. Besides, I've never been in the express delivery company you mentioned, so I might not be able to meet your expectations. If you're dissatisfied, I won't be able to bear the responsibility. What you're worried about is the future, right? Yes. If I become a martial artist in 3 years at this stage, even if you don't pay me anything in return, I'll still be profiting. I'll use $450,000 in exchange for a martial artist. Anyone would know how to choose this deal. However, what you're buying is not just the 3 years I have now, but also the next few years of delay. The price will exceed the price of becoming a martial artist. Fong Ping chuckled. I like dealing with smart people. You're very rational. If, and I'm saying if, I become a middle-ranked martial artist in 3 years, and the school arranges for you to be the general manager of Magic Martial Hotel, do you think that's possible? Li Qingzi's eyes finally lit up. He smiled and nodded. President Fong, I'll be happy to serve you. 3 years later, if Fong Ping was willing to help him, even if he became a rank 3, MCMEU would rarely reject such a request. What was a general manager of a small hotel? Fong Ping had promised him the profits for the next 3 years, and he had even prepared a backup plan for him, one that was better than he had expected. If that was the case, what was there to hesitate about? He had sucked up to Fong Ping for so many years. Had he not been looking for an opportunity like this? Actually, he had already made up his mind when Fong Ping mentioned the favor of a rank 3 martial artist and the offer of help in a time of need. He was still young. If he did not take a gamble now, would he continue like this for the rest of his life? After he became a martial artist, what was a housekeeping manager? He had only asked for a sky-high price to test his future boss's temperament. He did not expect Fong Ping to be more generous than he had expected. Also, a middle ranked in 3 years. These words were enough to show Fong Ping's confidence. A student who had just graduated from high school and decided to start a business before entering martial arts university knew how to use his identity and value to obtain the greatest benefit with the smallest price. Such a person, even if he really failed in business, so what? After graduating from university, even if he did not start a business, he could still become a commander. Being a commander's lackey was better than working in a hotel. The words President Fong made Fong Ping laugh. Li Qingzi's change of address was faster than he had imagined, more abrupt, and not at all out of place. Then I hope we can have a pleasant cooperation. No, it's to serve you. Li Qingzi insisted on using the word serve. Fong Ping might not care now, but what about in the future? Since he had already flattered him, he should do it all the way and not give up halfway. That's good. From now on, you're our company's general manager. Fong Ping wanted to say the name of the company, but he suddenly realized that he had not registered it and had forgotten about the name. Li Qingzi seemed to realize this, and the corner of his mouth twitched slightly. Was this person really capable of doing business? Following his principles, Li Qingzi said with a smile, "Thank you for your support, President Fong. Although I've never done express delivery before, I'm well versed in one line. Especially what I'm doing now, it's related to food and beverage. About the online food ordering platform you mentioned earlier, I think my current identity will be of some use. Magic Martial Hotel is a business under Magic City Martial Arts University. Although my main job is the housekeeping manager, I've been doing more receptionist tasks in the past few years. Because I go out often, I'm very familiar with some of my peers in the university city. At this moment, Li Qingzi began to show his value. Fong Ping had sought him out because he was not familiar with Magic City. When he familiarized himself here and became a true martial artist, he would definitely be eliminated if he could not show his value as an outsider. 8 years of service in Magic Martial Hotel did not only bring him a yearly salary of $150,000. If he treated his annual salary as everything, then he would be useless. Among them, the biggest reward for people in the service industry was the connections and resources they accumulated by borrowing Magic City Martial Arts University's name. High-level management in big hotels had a frightening salary, and they were often poached. They were not poached just for the person or their management skills. Instead, they were poached because of the resources they could take with them, including customer resources and channel resources. At this moment, Fong Ping could be considered to have experienced what it was like to have a tortoise's aura and have subordinates kneel down and worship him. However, this was mostly not because of his personal charisma or ability. Li Qing's quick decision was largely due to his identity as a Magic City Martial Arts University student. At this moment, Fong Ping's thoughts were not on Li Qing's. He was not even thinking about the company's name. Instead, he was thinking about Magic City Martial Arts University. He had to cherish his identity as a martial arts university student. Moreover, he had to strive for greater benefits and status in martial arts universities in the future. Nanjiang Martial Arts University's Martial Arts Society president, Wang Jinyang, could make a city commander treat him with respect. Nanjiang Martial Arts University's rank 3 martial artist, Wang Jinyang, could not do this. Fong Ping threw the matter of the express delivery company to Li Qing's and did not worry about it anymore. His top priority now was to break through thrice honing. It had been 20 days since he reached his 199 calories vitality limit. Fong Ping felt that it was time to break through the limit. Chapter 89. In the room, Fong Ping cultivated the methods of honing over and over again. In the past, he had only cultivated once a day. Just one round of honing was already exhausting, even when his mentality was full. This time, however, Fong Ping had already cultivated the methods of honing thrice. Break! Fong Ping roared in his heart. He had been stuck at the 200 mark for a long time. Ever since he had the system, he had only spent a few days on the 149 and 179 marks. He had been stuck at the 199 mark for almost a month. An hour had passed. 2 hours had passed when Fong Ping finished honing his meridians and bones for the 6th time. The bones in his body suddenly moved. Yes, his bones were moving. His muscles were wriggling. Fong Ping, who had gone through twice honing, was overjoyed. The thrice honing had begun. Bits of black blood were squeezed out from the surface of his skin. Fong Ping dared not delay. He stood up hurriedly and took up his stance. This was also the time when the stance was the most effective. 20 minutes later, Fong Ping had turned into a black man. His entire body was covered in solidified black blood. Fong Ping was overjoyed. I'm finally done. Thrice honed. Even old Wang can't compare to me. Ha ha. Fong Ping, who rarely showed joy, was genuinely happy this time. He had been stuck for too long. Fong Ping checked his stats hurriedly. Soon, new numbers appeared in front of him. Wealth. 220,000 vitality. 182 calories. 205 calories. Mentality. 175 hertz. 209 hertz. The effects are amazing. After completing the thrice honing, his vitality limit had increased by 6 calories and his mentality limit by 10 hertz. This meant that Fong Ping's physical fitness had been greatly improved after the thrice honing. After all, it was not easy to increase so much in one go above 200 calories. Thrice honing is done. I can't wait any longer. Fong Ping made up his mind to break through and become a martial artist as soon as possible. Thrice honing had consumed a lot of his wealth and time. If he had chosen to break through rank 1 in mid-June, he might have been able to advance to rank 2 by now. Thrice honing was enough. Forget about whether he could hone his bones again. Even if he could, he would not continue. Fong Ping knew a little about the benefits of bone honing in the early stages. This would lay the foundation for honing the entire body's bones in the future. During the period of aspiring martial artists, the more times they honed their bones, the faster the honing of their limbs and torso would be. Wang Jinyang vaguely revealed that the more times he honed his bones, the greater the benefit of honing his skull in the later stages. Tempering the skull was the most difficult part of tempering the human skeleton. Rank 1 and Rank 2 honed the limbs, while Rank 3 honed the torso. Wang Jinyang did not say whether the skull was honed at Rank 4, so Fang Ping did not know. However, the skull definitely needed to be honed, and it might be at a higher level. The brain was not a small matter, but honing the bones to the brain was extremely dangerous. Now that Fang Ping had completed a thrice honing, honing his skull in the future would benefit him immensely. From mid-April to mid-August, Fang Ping completed his thrice honing after 4 months. Recovering consumes too much wealth. I won't recover it for now. I'll rely on myself to recuperate for 2 days. I'll take a good rest during these 2 days. If you break through Rank 1 after enrolling, you can still apply for resources from the school. MCMEU Rank 1 provides pills for free. This way, I can save a bone honing pill and a Rank 1 vitality pill. Fang Ping did not wash up. He just lay on the ground, muttering to himself. Registration would start in a little more than 10 days. Fang Ping was in such a hurry to break through. On one hand, aspiring martial artists were not martial artists, so some things were not easy to handle. For example, the express delivery company. Although twice honed was treated the same as Rank 1 martial artists, they were not martial artists after all, so they did not have the deterrence of martial artists. Fang Ping was sure that once the company opened for business, trouble would come. It was not that there were no express delivery companies in the university town. He was an outsider, and he did not want to join them. He did not even give them a heads up, snatching business the moment he arrived. Would others agree? Aspiring martial artists could not intimidate these people, but martial artists, Magic City Martial Arts University martial artists, could more or less intimidate them. After all, it was only in the jurisdiction of the dozen or so universities near MCMAU. When it expanded to the entire university town, Fang Ping's strength would increase again, and he would be able to suppress these dissatisfied voices. Fang Ping did not want to make preparations when things came to a head. There were no disadvantages to being prepared for trouble in advance. Moreover, if he was thrice honed and entered a martial arts university, he could choose better instructors and be valued more. After all, there was only one thrice honed martial artist in the whole of Magic City Martial Arts University, and he had achieved it with the help of the university's abundant resources. After weighing the pros and cons, Fang Ping said self-deprecatingly, "I don't know if I'm suitable to be a martial artist. After all, I'm too materialistic." Before he did anything, he liked to calculate the pros and cons clearly. He lacked the impulsiveness of some young people. People like Wang Jinyang said that he did not act like a young person, because his mentality was not that of an impulsive teenager. Forget it. I don't care about all this. I've completed the thrice honing mission. The goal of making money is still a little far away. As long as I can set up the platform, that's enough. I hope Li Qingze can surprise me even more. Fang Ping let go of his worries. Today should be something to be happy about, not worried about. Right? What should I call the company? Fang Ping suddenly thought of this matter. Fang Ping Express? Fang Ping Company? That sounds terrible. Yuan Fang? Fang Yuan? Yuan Ping? Ping Yuan? The word yuan isn't good either. How about distance? Fang Ping rubbed his jet-black chin and muttered, "That sounds pretty good." Naturally, one has to look far ahead when doing things. The company also has to develop toward the future. Distance Express, Distance Food and Beverage, Distance Group, let's go with this. It's just a name anyway. Fang Ping made the decision casually. He did not care too much about external appearances like names. In the next few days, Li Qingze did not quit his job. Instead, he took a few days off. With the help of this old MCMAU, the efficiency increased abnormally fast. Although the manager of Magic Martial Hotel was not a big shot, he was now working for a MCMAU student. Coupled with the university's reputation, there were not many in the university town who would not give him some face. The registration was done quickly. He did not use the express company's name. He called it Distance Limited. The scope of business was also more extensive. Food and beverage, express delivery, and IT were all included. Fong Ping did not know how Li Qingze managed to do it. Li Qingze was not in a hurry to hire people. Instead, he called for a renovation company to do a simple renovation of the delivery point and office. If new people arrived and saw this messy and dirty place, even a martial artist company would not be able to keep them. Moreover, hiring a day later meant saving a day's worth of wages. Knowing that Fong Ping did not have enough funds, Li Qingze began to plan carefully. He could not wait to hire people on the first day, train them on the second, and officially start work on the third. He was busy until late August. Only then did he finish the preparatory work. At this moment, there were less than 3 days left until the official registration of martial arts universities. On the eve of registration, parents of students began to check into the hotel one after another. Not everyone was like Fong Ping, coming to school alone. This group of prodigies who had just finished their 3rd year of high school had not adapted to the change in their identities. Many of them were normal people with 130 calories vitality. If they did not practice combat techniques, they were no different from normal people. Therefore, many of them were accompanied by their parents. August 30th, when they saw Fong Ping strolling down the stairs and entering the restaurant, the dishes on the table were obviously better than theirs. After observing for a few days, one of the parents finally said unhappily, "Waiter, isn't that a student of Magic City Martial Arts University too? Why does he have a better place to stay and eat better than us?" At first, no one knew if Fong Ping was a student. However, after a few days, these people knew that he was also a new student this year. They were all new students, but why did Fong Ping have a better place to stay and eat better? They all knew that the Magic Martial Hotel was free. The school would only officially register the day after tomorrow. However, they could already arrange accommodation for him during these 2 days. Fong Ping was too lazy to move, so he stayed here. Their children did not live here, but they would come here to eat sometimes. However, this group of prodigies always felt embarrassed to eat for free. They were not as thick-skinned as Fong Ping, so most of the time they went out to eat with their parents. The parent who asked the question earlier felt that her son was too embarrassed to eat for free, so he insisted on going out to eat. Now, he ate and drank outside and spent money lavishly, spending hundreds of yuan a day. Seeing Fong Ping eat well and live well here, the woman felt it was unfair. She even cursed in her heart. How could this guy eat here? The waiter did not dare to offend the parents of these MCMAU students. He immediately explained, "Mr. Fong is a rank 1 martial artist, so, yes, rank 1. Because Fong Ping's martial arts license was already rank 1 during registration, Li Qingze did not bother to explain to them. In front of Fong Ping, Li Qingze bowed and scraped. There was no need to be so thorough with these normal employees. Martial artist. As soon as he said that, everyone fell silent. Martial artists and aspiring martial artists were worlds apart. Everyone knew this. Although their children had also been admitted to Magic City Martial Arts University, compared to martial artists, the gap was too big. Those who could become martial artists during the Gaokao were not from ordinary families. No one would stay in a free hostel like this. Fong Ping was an exception. For so many years, Magic Martial Hotel had never entertained new martial artists, not even twice-owned ones. This was also one of the reasons why Li Qingze kept sucking up to Fong Ping. When the higher-ranked students came, they looked down on Li Qingze. Only newcomers like Fong Ping were easier to talk to. Fong Ping heard their conversation, but he did not care. However, Fong Ping could not be bothered. He was now considering whether he should move out in the future. The food here was good, the accommodation was good, and everything was free. Other than the fact that it was more than 10 minutes away from the school, there were no other disadvantages. If he went to school and stayed in a 6-person room, could it compare to this place? Of course, Fong Ping guessed that it might not be a 6-person room, but a 4-person room or a 2-person room. After all, martial artist cultivation was more private. It was not suitable to live in groups. No matter how many people it was, could it be better than a presidential suite? He just did not know if it was possible. If it was possible, then it would be great. As he was thinking, Li Qingze stepped into the restaurant. The waiters hurriedly greeted him. and Li Qingze nodded with a face full of smiles. After a while, Li Qingze stopped in front of Fong Ping and said softly, "President Fong, the renovations are almost done. Do you want to go over and take a look?" "No need. You can handle it as you see fit. I'll prepare for the next 2 days and wait for school to start in my best condition. Then about tomorrow's recruitment, you can handle it as well. There are few people in the early stages, so the personnel matters are not complicated. The finance is even simpler. It doesn't matter if I go or not. When I have some foundation, I'll go over and take a look. Also, if I don't have enough money," Fong Ping felt a headache coming on. After a while, he said, "If it's not enough, give me a call. I'll think of something." He still had some vitality pills on hand. He would see if he could sell them. "All right, I understand." At the end, Li Qingze said, "When you enter MCMEU, I'll officially resign. The procedures will be completed soon. Can I stay here any longer?" Li Qingze was stunned for a moment. He nodded and said, "Of course you can, but this isn't appropriate, right? It'll be more convenient for you in school. Also, after I leave, if you stay here for a long time, you might." He did not say what might happen, but Fong Ping refused to leave. If he stayed for a long time, people might look down on him. Was that necessary? Fong Ping did not say anything more. It would depend on the situation. If it was not troublesome to stay in school and eat, he would go to school. Living outside was not the same thing. After a brief exchange, Li Qingze left quickly. Fong Ping did not run around after eating. He went back to his room to continue cultivating. His pole standing seemed to be breaking through to the firm stance. If he could break through in these 2 days, he would be able to enter a martial arts university with results of thrice honing, firm stance pole standing, and minor success in leg techniques. There would probably be no one stronger than him among the new students. Chapter 90. In the blink of an eye, it was September 1st, Magic City Martial Arts University. A large number of parents were gathered at the school gate. Although MCMAU did not recruit many new students, there were still more than 1,000 of them. There were also more than 1,000 parents. At this time, however, the parents were all blocking the gate, grumbling. "What's going on? Why aren't parents allowed to enter the school?" "That's right. I wanted to see the school environment and dormitories, but they're not letting me in. My daughter is carrying 3 suitcases by herself. I saw that the guide didn't even help carry them." The parents refused to leave either. Some complained, some waited, and some talked to their children through the gate's bars. Fong Ping had just arrived. When he heard their complaints, he found out that parents were not allowed to accompany today's registration. Fong Ping did not mind what he said. He walked toward the small door beside the school gate, minding his own business. The main gate of the martial arts university was rarely opened. There was a side gate that did. Fong Ping's approach was rather conspicuous. There was a long workbench at the side gate. Behind the workbench were students who were there to receive the new students. Seeing Fong Ping walk over, the boys and girls behind the workbench were not sure of his identity. Because his luggage was still at the hotel, Fong Ping came almost empty-handed. Of course, that was if they ignored the crumpled admission letter in his hand. It was because they saw the admission letter that they were not sure of his identity. Regardless of whether they were new or old students, as soon as Fong Ping walked over, someone asked, "New student?" "Yes, you're right." The boy who asked the question was a little surprised. His previously expressionless face broke into a smile. "You came alone?" "Yes," Fong Ping answered. He turned his head to look at the parents and asked softly, "Are the parents not allowed to enter?" The boy snorted and snorted. "Not usually, but not now. Do you really think you came to Magic City Martial Arts University to live a comfortable life? Since you're preparing to become a martial artist, you should be mentally prepared to become one from now on." After the boy finished speaking, someone beside him interrupted. "Junior, you're not bad. You didn't even bring your luggage. You can save yourself a lot of suffering. Since you've entered a martial arts university, you must first learn to be independent. You're already an adult, but you still need parents to accompany you and carry your luggage. Your vitality is for the dogs." The person who interrupted had a sharp tongue. When he mentioned the freshmen who let their parents carry their luggage, his face was full of disdain. The lowest vitality of Magic City Martial Arts University's new students was 130 calories and above. They did well in the practical test too, which meant that they did not lack training. Under such circumstances, it wouldn't be a problem for a man or a woman to carry 2 or 3 suitcases. All right, Zhou Yun, don't talk about others. We were the same when we first arrived. The man who had spoken earlier interrupted Zhou Yun and turned to look at Fong Ping. Show me your acceptance letter. Fong Ping did not care what Zhou Yun had said earlier. It was not him anyway. He handed over the letter of acceptance. The man glanced at it, then tilted his head and said, "Who's going to take this junior Fong Ping to complete the procedures?" At this moment, the dozen or so people behind the workbench all lazily did not answer. The sharp-tongued Zhou Yun saw the man looking at him and couldn't help but grumble. "I'm not going. It's too boring. It's fine if she's not a junior, but if she's a junior carrying a few large suitcases, I'll just watch the fun. This guy looks like a wily old fox. If there's no fun to watch, I'm not going anyway." That's right. If she's not a wily old fox, then she's been taught before. I'm not going either. Old Wei, why don't you go by yourself? Some of the students jeered, asking the man who had received Fong Ping to go by himself. Fong Ping could tell that because he did not carry a few suitcases, and because he was not a girl, these guys were not willing to send him off because there was no fun to watch and no women to watch. While they were joking, Zhou Yun, who had just said he would not send Fong Ping, suddenly brightened and said loudly, "Parents, stop. Junior, come here. I'll send you off." Zhou Yun's tone was not gentle, and it scared the chubby boy who had just arrived into a daze. Among martial artists, there were not many who were fat. Most of them were clerks. Among martial science students, fat people were even rarer. That was because they often trained and cultivated, so their bodies were not too bloated. However, this student who had just arrived was indeed quite fat. He wondered if he was the type who would grow fat just by drinking water. The chubby boy was still in a daze. The others who had refused to send Fong Ping off earlier also said, "Junior, come to me. I'll send you off. Don't fight with me. I'll do it. Junior, let this big sister send you off. These guys are too careless." Fong Ping's expression darkened as he watched the group of boys and girls fighting to send the chubby boy off. Damn it, am I that unwelcoming? However, he saw that the chubby boy was dragging 3 or 4 suitcases of various sizes. That was not enough. The person next to him was obviously his father, because he was a big fat boy who was also dragging 2 suitcases in his hands. At that moment, when he saw the martial arts university students welcoming his son so warmly, the chubby man who had been a little unhappy at the words, "Parents, stop," chuckled and said, "Guosheng, hurry up and thank your senior brothers and sisters." The chubby boy obviously did not have many opinions of his own. When he heard his father's words, he immediately thanked them. "Thank you, seniors. You're welcome. Excess, right?" No wonder Zhou Yun was as sharp as ever. He clearly felt that the names suited the chubby boy quite well. It was obvious that he was overnourished. In the crowd, Old Wei, who had spoken earlier, glared at him and checked Guosheng's acceptance letter. Then he said, "Zhou Yun, send him off. Send Junior Fong Ping off too." The use of the word along made Fong Ping want to vomit blood. Just how unwelcome am I that sending someone off is just a matter of convenience? It was all thanks to the chubby boy. Otherwise, Fong Ping suspected that he would have to wait here for a while longer. Zhou Yun did not refuse since it was a matter of convenience. He smiled and said, "All right, juniors, come with me." Fong Ping had no problem with it, but Guosheng was in trouble. His father did not allow him to enter. His hands were already full, and his father's luggage could not be carried away. The chubby boy did not mind at first. Seeing that his son could not carry it, he chuckled and greeted Zhou Yun, "Student, can you help Guosheng carry it? I'll treat you to a meal later." Zhou Yun said lightly, "Uncle, it's fine. The school rules state that new students have to rely on themselves. We're only responsible for guiding them. We're not allowed to help. There's no teacher here anyway. Student, do me a favor." The chubby boy did not seem to care. He chuckled and continued to say nice things. Before he could finish, Zhou Yun frowned, and his vitality suddenly erupted. The chubby boy opposite him was actually a martial artist too. but he was only rank 1. Moreover, it seemed like he had gotten there by taking pills. It was hard to tell if he had honed his limbs or not. Although Zhou Yun was not very strong, he was still a peak rank 1. The chubby boy's expression changed under the vitality outburst. Only then did he realize that this was not his usual business partner. The students here were all God's favored ones, the elites of society. After Zhou Yun's vitality outburst, he said slowly, "If you really can't carry it, you can bring it back." The chubby boy did not dare say anything else. Only the ignorant were fearless. Now that he knew that the other was a martial artist and that his vitality was much higher than his, he did not waste any more words. He quickly took a few suitcases from his son's hands. As he took them, he said, "I won't bring any snacks now. If you want to eat, I'll buy some later." After saying that he would not bring any snacks, Fong Ping saw him take a few packages from Guosheng's hands, including a huge suitcase. The corners of everyone's mouths twitched. Were those snacks? As reserve martial artists, martial science students rarely ate snacks because they were not nutritious and were not good for cultivating vitality. When they saw the big and small bags, they thought that there was something big. They did not expect that most of them were snacks. Even Zhou Yun was surprised and speechless. After a while, there were only 2 suitcases left beside the chubby boy. When he saw that there were so few suitcases and that they all had wheels, Zhou Yun's interest in watching the fun faded away. When Guosheng was done, Zhou Yun turned and left, saying as he walked, "Follow me." Both Fong Ping and Guosheng followed him. Guosheng glanced at Fong Ping. Seeing that he was empty-handed, he could not help but ask, "You're a new student too?" "Yes." "You didn't bring anything?" "I left them in the guest house." "I see. I should have left them in the guest house too. I wonder if I can bring my snacks in after registration." Guosheng was obviously reluctant. Zhou Yun said without turning his head, "There's no restriction. If you want to bring them, come back and get them yourself." It was because the chubby boy could not carry them himself. Otherwise, he could have brought anything he wanted. That's good, that's good. "Thank you, senior." Guosheng thanked him quickly. Zhou Yun ignored him and walked some distance from the main entrance. Zhou Yun pointed at the first building they entered the school and said, "This is the school archives." Magic City Martial Arts University's founding history and the school's major events are all recorded here. The school archives have 9 floors. New students can go up to the first 3 floors, those below rank 3 can go up to the first 6 floors, and those above rank 3 can go up to the 9th floor. Guosheng was shocked. There's a restriction here too? He did not expect that there would be a restriction on one's ability to enter the school archives. Zhou Yun pursed his lips and said mildly, "You'll have to get used to this restriction. There are many places in martial arts universities that have restrictions on one's ability. You can go almost anywhere rank 3 and above, but you can't go to places below rank 3. Aspiring martial artists can't go to many places." As he spoke, Zhou Yun asked, "What's your vitality?" 135 calories. "So, I'll try to enter rank 1 as a freshman." Guosheng was obviously not satisfied. He said in a low voice, "I'm at 135 calories. I should be able to enter rank 1 this semester, right?" 135 calories was not too far from 150 calories. Magic City Martial Arts University was the best martial arts university. How could he not enter rank 1 in half a year? "You'll know when the time comes." Zhou Yun did not explain. It was obvious that the chubby kid had never practiced the methods of honing before. His pole standing was probably not that impressive either. He should have learned it before. After all, he had a rank 1 father. On the other hand, this guy was still thinking about snacks even though he was practicing martial arts. Zhou Yun did not have high hopes for him. Fong Ping did not say anything. Zhou Yun only remembered Fong Ping then. He tilted his head and asked, "What about you?" Fong Ping hesitated. Should I tell the truth? After some thought, Fong Ping felt that it was better to keep a low profile. He said softly, 180 calories. Zhou Yun's expression changed. He stopped in his tracks and said after a while, "You're twice honed?" "I guess so. I don't remember your name being twice honed among the new students. I achieved it after testing." "No wonder." Zhou Yun nodded slightly. His tone was slightly friendlier as he said, "There are 1580 new students this time. 52 of them are martial artists. There are even fewer twice-honed than martial artists. There are only 9 of them. We have a list of these people. You're not on it. It looks like there are 10 twice-honed students." Fong Ping was surprised. That many? Yes, too many. He remembered Wang Jinyang saying that there were not many twice-honed students in Nanjiang Martial Arts University. Magic City Martial Arts University only had new students, but there were already so many. As for the number of martial artists, Fong Ping was not too surprised. There were many martial artist candidates every year. Even in Nanjiang province, there would be 4 or 5 in a year. In the whole country, there would definitely be more than 100. These people were either applying to Magic City Martial Arts University or Capital City Martial Arts University. In reality, 52 was still a small number. Capital City might have more. After all, Nanjiang was not a developed area. Martial arts were not flourishing either. There were already 4 or 5. There were more than 30 provinces in the country. In a metropolis like Magic City, there were even more powerhouses. There should be close to 150 new martial artists in the country, right? There were indeed fewer martial artists in Magic City Martial Arts University. As the two of them chatted, Guosheng asked with a blank expression, "What's twice-honed? Also, your vitality is 180 calories?" Guosheng's question made Zhou Yun frown. "Didn't your father tell you?" "No. My dad said that 150 calories vitality is enough to break through and become a martial artist." As Guosheng spoke, he looked at Fong Ping and asked, "Aren't you a martial artist?" He had heard what Zhou Yun said earlier. He was twice-honed, not a martial artist, but his vitality had reached 180 calories. Guosheng felt that he had been bewildered. Zhou Yun shook his head. Either Fatty's father did not know, or he did not tell his son to avoid hurting him. It was normal for casual martial artists not to know about twice-honing. In martial arts training classes, as long as you reached 150 calories vitality, you would break through. Who cared if you could continue to nurture your vitality? The purpose of martial arts training classes was to produce martial artists. Everything else had nothing to do with them. If you knew, then so be it. If you did not know, then so be it. Fong Ping smiled at the little fatty's question. You can continue to nurture your vitality above 150 calories. When you reach 150 calories, your body goes through the first bone honing. At 180 calories, you go through the second bone honing. Is that so? Guosheng looked confused. Then we all have to reach 180 calories to break through? No wonder Senior said I might not become a martial artist in my freshman year. The corner of Zhou Yun's eye twitched. You want to twice hone? He was talking about breaking through normally. He could not be bothered to explain to this guy. Sooner or later, he would know how ridiculous his words were. As for Fong Ping, Zhou Yun led the way. He was no longer ignoring him like before. Chapter 91. Zhou Yun brought them around in a big circle, introducing them to some of the school's buildings along the way. Half an hour later, he brought the two of them to the reception. Even so, they had only toured a small part of the school. It was not easy to tour a school of 30,000 mu. When they arrived at the reception, there was no difference from the last time Fong Ping came. This time, the new students were assigned to their dormitories, so there were many people there. There was more than one staff member. More than a dozen registration counters were all working. The woman Fong Ping met last time was also busy registering students and distributing keys. At that moment, the woman had just finished registering someone. She raised her head and moved. She spotted Fong Ping immediately and greeted him with a smile. "Student Fong Ping, come here." Zhou Yun was stunned. He turned his head to look at Fong Ping and asked softly, "You know someone?" "I came to school early. It was this Annie who helped me stay in the school hotel last time." "Oh, it's good to know someone. You don't have to wait in line." Zhou Yun was happy to hear that. He led Fong Ping and Guosheng toward the hotel. "Instructor, don't we have to wait in line? It should be my turn, right?" A new student in front of the woman could not help but ask when Fong Ping and the others arrived. The woman glanced at the senior student beside him. The boy who was leading the way smiled and said, 138 calories. The woman understood and said lightly, According to the school's rules, powerhouses go first. Ah? The new student was stunned. He did not expect such a reply. The woman ignored him. It was true that MCMU students were geniuses. A vitality of 138 calories would make them geniuses among geniuses in normal martial arts universities. However, in Magic City Martial Arts University, there were many martial artist students. Who cared about these people? Not everyone needed to be courteous and flatter. So, what if these students were not satisfied? This was not the woman's nonsense. This was the school's rules. Powerhouses go first. If he was unhappy, he would work hard to increase his vitality and break through ranks. If he really wanted to argue with a woman at the reception, this kind of person would not go far. The woman was not afraid of this kind of student. She did not care about the new student's mood. When Fong Ping came over, the woman said with a smile, "Student Fong Ping, did you like the hotel? If you're not satisfied, we accept complaints here." "Thank you, Annie. I'm very satisfied. I don't want to leave." "That's good." The woman smiled again and said, "I helped you take a look before. The dormitory allocation is not bad, so I didn't change it." As she spoke, she did not need to check her ID and acceptance letter like everyone else. Instead, she entered her information directly into the computer. Soon, the woman handed over a key and said, "New Students Area 1, number 86. Fong Ping hurriedly took the key, but he was a little confused. Magic City Martial Arts University's dormitory allocation seemed a little different from what he had imagined. Beside him, Zhou Yun said enviously, "You're directly assigned to the first zone. I remember when I first came last year, I was assigned to the 6th zone." The woman curled her lips and said, "You're already a senior. Do you still need me to teach you? The more capable you are, the more you'll be treated. Isn't it only right that student Fong Ping is assigned to the same zone?" Zhou Yun didn't get angry. He smiled and nodded. "That's true. Annie Zhang, can you help me with this new student as well?" As he spoke, he pointed at Guosheng, who was still in a daze. The woman didn't refuse. She took the fatty's ID and acceptance letter and keyed in the information. Then he pursed his lips and said, "Zone 1, room 199. "SK." Zhou Yun clicked his tongue and turned to look at Guosheng. He smiled faintly and said, "How much money did your old man stuff in?" Guosheng's face flushed red. He said softly, "No, isn't this the normal allocation?" "Ha!" Zhou Yun laughed. A few of the senior students beside him couldn't help but laugh too. Before Zhou Yun could speak, someone laughed and said, "Zone 1 has a total of 200 rooms. The first 100 rooms are allocated based on admission results. The next 100 rooms are allocated based on sponsorship. Do you know what sponsorship money is? I'm willing to bet that your family has sponsored at least 200,000. 200,000? I don't think his vitality is high. It's at least 300,000. Has the price of the houses in Zone 1 gone up?" Many of the senior students began to discuss unscrupulously, and the little fatty's face had long since turned red from embarrassment. It was bad enough that he went through the back door, but it had been discovered, and everyone knew about it. The woman saw them joking and said impatiently, "What are you arguing about? Money is also a resource. What's wrong with making use of resources? Besides, the sponsorship money is used on you guys in the end. This is called balancing the rich and the poor. How else would the poor students get their resources?" When she said that, everyone stopped laughing. MCMU might be very realistic and snobbish, but it was relatively fair to its students. If you had the ability, you would get the resources. If you had no ability, they would try not to let you fall behind too much. Money could be spent on dormitory allocation. It was normal to start with 200,000. Room 100 was sponsored more than 20 million every year, sometimes as high as 40 to 50 million. What was the money used for? Just like the woman said, if it was used on MCMU students, the school would not take the money because the school was not short of it. Of course, tens of millions was very little to martial artists, and it was even less for the average person. However, this was also a gesture to tell the rich kids that they could spend money in exchange for better treatment than others. It also told the poor students that the school would not take the money. As long as they worked hard, the money would be theirs. So, what if they lived a little worse? As long as their ability improved, they could have everything. Therefore, everyone laughed and did not take it seriously when these rich kids went through the back door and used sponsorship money to get a better living environment. Some things, as long as it was done openly and transparently, the students would have a balance in their hearts. If it was done behind the scenes, people like Guosheng living in Zone 1 would have caused a lot of dissatisfaction. Zhou Yun did not tease Guosheng anymore. He got the key and said immediately, "Let's go. I'll show you around the dormitory. There's nothing else for me to do. The school will make arrangements. Annie, I'll leave first. I'll come see you when I'm free." Fang Ping greeted the woman. Regardless of whether the woman thought highly of him because of his ability, she was very friendly to him. The woman smiled and nodded. She did not exchange pleasantries and continued to register the others. After Fang Ping and the others had left, the student who registered after Fang Ping asked unwillingly, "Teacher, how high was that student's vitalities?" Even if he acknowledged that powerhouses were prioritized, he did not know Fang Ping's situation at all. Of course, he was not satisfied. "Twice honed." The woman did not even raise her head. She said quickly, "Zone 3, room 268. The student who asked the question was no longer in the mood to listen to his dormitory allocation. He actually knew about twice honing, unlike Guosheng who knew nothing. He did not know how to be considered twice honed, but he knew that he had to break through 150 calories and above. MCMU was indeed a place where geniuses gathered. It was easy to meet a genius who broke through 150 calories. The student was no longer dissatisfied. He knew how difficult it was to achieve a vitality of 138 calories. If the other party could achieve 150 calories and above, it did not matter if he was a genius or had a good family background. There was no need to be dissatisfied. "Senior Zhou, are there any differences in the dormitory allocation?" After exiting the reception area, Fang Ping started asking questions as they walked. The new students' dormitory area is divided into 4 zones. Each zone has 200 suites. Zone 1 has a single room. Zone 2 has 2 people in a room. Zone 3 has 3 people in a room. And Zone 4 has 4 people in a room. It can accommodate 2,000 people in total. Each zone will have some empty rooms for later allocation. You'll be assigned to Zone 1, which is a single room. A single room. Fang Ping was speechless. MCMU was really rich. They had provided 800 rooms for just over 1,000 students. Zhou Yun smiled faintly. "It's normal. It doesn't cost much to build a house. Also, MCMU students have land developers who help the school build houses for free. As for the boundaries, MCMU is 30,000 mu in size. There are only about 6,000 students. Do you think there's a shortage of space?" They did not lack money or space. The houses were all built for free. If it were not to make the students feel inferior, it would not be a problem for all of them to be single rooms. The reason they did not do this was to motivate the students to improve themselves. The dormitory area was located on the east side of the school. It was not only the new students' area, but also the dormitories of the other years. The moment they walked into the dormitory area, Fang Ping realized that his standards were too low. This was not the dormitory area he had imagined. It was a beautiful, high-end villa area. There were no high-rise dormitory buildings. They were all 2- or 3-story townhouses. On both sides of the road, there were lush trees and lush flowers. The terraced houses were built around a man-made lake, forming a circle. Fang Ping was speechless. Guosheng was also dumbfounded. "It feels similar to my home. The school is so rich." Judging from his tone, Fatty's family was obviously rich too. That was normal. To sponsor a dormitory with 200,000 or 300,000, one would not be able to do so without money. Zhou Yun was satisfied with their shock. He smiled. Martial artists sometimes lead very depressing lives. If even their dormitories are cramped, they'll go crazy sooner or later. The school gives us such a dormitory environment to help us adjust our mentality and emotions. Of course, only MCMU can do this. Even Capital City Martial Arts University is not as generous as us. Zhou Yun was obviously very proud of MCMAU. When he mentioned Capital City Martial Arts University, he tried his best to belittle them, even though he was not disdainful. As he spoke, Zhou Yun and the others walked toward the new students area. The new students area was located in the southeast corner of the dormitory area. The other areas were very quiet and had very few people, but the new students area was crowded. Along the way, Fong Ping and the others met other new students who were also there to report. However, they were not familiar with each other. Unless they met a senior student that Zhou Yun was familiar with, no one chatted with each other. A few minutes later, Fong Ping reached his room. Area 1, Room 86. Room 86 was on the second floor. The new students' area was a two-story row of rooms. The first 100 were upstairs, and the ones below were 101 to 200. The overall layout was still in the form of university dormitories and hotel rooms. There was a passageway with 50 rooms on each side. Fong Ping's room was room 85 and 87 on the left, and room 15 on the opposite side. At this moment, some of the other rooms were occupied, and some were not. The rooms around Fong Ping were very quiet. No one should have arrived yet. When he opened the room, Fong Ping could not be bothered to be shocked. Although it was called a room, it was actually a complete high-end, well-furnished room. There was a bedroom, a living room, a training room, a study, a bathroom, and even a kitchen. Fong Ping roughly estimated that the entire room was not smaller than 120 square meters. This was a house for one person. It was just a new student's dormitory. MCMU could no longer be described as rich and imposing. If the other areas had this layout, even if it was area 4 with 4 people, the living environment would not be bad. Families with 5 or 6 people would be squeezed into a house that was less than 100 square meters. In the room, there was a bed, a cabinet, a sofa. All of these things were present. It was also very clean. The only thing lacking was some daily necessities, which the students had to buy themselves. Fong Ping could not help but think about how his parents were worried about his food and accommodation, and how they urged him to unite his roommates. "Do I have roommates?" Fong Ping complained. "I'm the only one in this room. I don't have any roommates. I wonder if the people next door count." After looking around the room, Fong Ping did not care anymore. Zhou Yun walked him downstairs and left, but before he left, he gave each of them a schedule for the following days. The new students would report in the morning. They would be given a certain amount of time to buy daily necessities and say goodbye to their parents. At 3 p.m., everyone would gather at Field 1. There were 7 or 8 fields in MCMAU. Fong Ping did not look at the map carefully. There was only one task today: gather. At 8 a.m. the next day, everyone would gather at the building of practical training. Fong Ping knew that this was for the school assignment. After that, there were no other arrangements. They would wait for the assignment to be completed before making arrangements. It was a very simple schedule. Buy some daily necessities. Also, go to the hotel and bring your luggage here. The school's living environment was not bad. It was also convenient on campus, so Fong Ping did not plan to continue staying at the hotel. Right? I seem to have forgotten something? Fong Ping suddenly remembered something. After a while, he mumbled, "Don't I have to pay school fees?" He remembered that the admission notice did not mention that it was free. If he remembered correctly, there was a 10,000 registration fee. Why did he not pay this time? Fong Ping shook his head and did not care anymore. If they did not want to pay, then so be it. Maybe MCMAU did not care about this small amount of fees and did not want them. Fong Ping was about to go out to buy daily necessities when there was a knock on his door. "Is anyone there? I'm from the dorm next door." Obviously, someone had already settled in and was coming out to meet the new students. Although the school had not been assigned and the class instructors had not been assigned, the possibility of being assigned to the first 100 rooms in Zone 1 was very high. The first 100 rooms were based on the admission results. Fong Ping was able to enter the first 100 rooms because of his 149 calories vitality. Fong Ping even suspected that the school already knew that he was twice honed, which was why they had arranged for him to enter the first 100 rooms. Otherwise, although his vitality was not low, his results in cultural studies and general studies were average. There were 52 martial artists in Magic City Martial Arts University. 9 of them were twice-honed and had a vitality of more than 150 calories. Were there no twice-honed students? Based on the exam results, there was no way he could enter the top 100. Chapter 92. As soon as the door opened, Fong Ping had the urge to punch someone. A handsome guy stood outside the door. He was not the fair-skinned type, but the kind of handsome that was full of energy and vitality. "Hello, classmate. I'm Fu Chanding from the room opposite yours. I hope I'm not disturbing you?" Fu Chanding spoke energetically, a bright smile on his face the whole time. Fong Ping felt that he should be an endorser for a toothpaste commercial with his white teeth. Fong Ping glanced at him. He looked at his face first, then frowned slightly. "Room 15? Yes, I just arrived too. Classmate, I haven't asked your name yet." Fu Chanding's smile did not falter. Fong Ping. Fong Ping introduced himself, then stepped aside and said, "Come in and we'll talk. Sorry to disturb you." Fu Chanding was very gentlemanly. He smiled politely and stepped into the room. The rooms were all the same, so there was nothing to see. When Fong Ping invited him to sit, Fu Chanding smiled. "Fong Ping, where are you from? From your accent, you seem to be from Nanjiang, right?" "Yes, I'm from Sun City, Nanjiang. What about you?" "I'm from Capital City." Before Fong Ping could ask, Fu Chanding said, "Capital City Martial Arts University is too close to my home, so I came to Magic City Martial Arts University." As he said that, Fu Chanding smiled. "Sun City, Nanjiang. I think I've heard of it once, right? You know Wang? Wang Jinyang. That should be his name, right? Do you know him?" Fong Ping was a little surprised. Was Old Wang that famous? Old Wang had just broken through to rank 3. In Magic City and Capital City, there should be many rank 3 students, right? Nanjiang was just an underdeveloped province. How did Old Wang get so famous? After some thought, Fong Ping nodded. "Yes, I do. He's from my high school, 1 year ahead of me." "You really know each other." "That's right, Sun City isn't that big. It's normal for you to know each other. Geniuses knew other geniuses. That was normal." Fong Ping thought for a while and asked, "You know Wang Jinyang too?" "I've heard of him." Fu Chanding finally found a topic. He said with a smile, "Your high school senior has been in the limelight recently. He just broke through to rank 3 not long ago and has been testing his saber everywhere." "Testing his saber? You don't know?" Fu Chanding was a little surprised. He could not tell Fong Ping's vitality at the moment, but if he stayed in room 86, he would at least be at the level of a twice-honed. Fu Chanding even felt that this fellow's vitality was higher than he had imagined. How could such a person have no background? How could he not know about this when he left Sun City with Wang Jinyang? Also, Sun City wasn't that big, so why were there so many monsters here? Could it be that there was another Grandmaster hidden in Sun City? Fu Chanding had a lot of doubts in his heart, but he knew that it was not a good idea to speak too deeply with a mere acquaintance, so he did not ask. Instead, he took the initiative to explain Wang Jinyang might have completed honing his torso bones. He might be trying to break through to rank 4. However, he had broken through too quickly. The students of Nanjiang Martial Arts University were no longer able to give him any pressure. Since the beginning of August, Wang Jinyang had been traveling around with his saber, challenging some peak rank 3 martial artists. A few days ago, Wang Jinyang happened to go to Capital City. Of course, I didn't go to see it. At that time, I was preparing to come to Shanghai to register. You went to the capital? Yeah. Although rank 3 martial artists aren't considered too strong in Capital City, they're not weak either. When he first arrived in Capital City, he challenged 8 martial arts training classes in 1 day. These martial arts training classes all have middle-rank martial artists in charge, and many of them are peak rank 3 martial artists. Also, martial arts training classes are usually set up by large corporations, government agencies, and martial arts universities. Wang Jinyang was very courageous. He challenged their martial arts training classes first. After that, the people behind these classes will definitely not let it go. Middle-rank martial artists won't make a move, but the powerhouses among the peak rank 3 martial artists will definitely make a move. He challenged 8 martial arts training classes in 1 day. What could Fong Ping say? There was nothing he could say. Damn it, Old Wong was amazing. Also, how long had it been since he broke through to rank 3? In mid-April, Old Wong broke through to rank 3, and it was only September now. Breaking through to rank 4 from rank 3 was definitely a big hurdle, the kind that was very, very big. However, Old Wong was now traveling around, challenging powerhouses to pressure Fong Ping. Obviously, he was facing a bottleneck and was looking for a breakthrough. It had only been 5 months, and Fong Ping could not help but admire him from the bottom of his heart. He's not in danger, is he? Fong Ping could not help but ask. Fu Changding looked at him deeply and smiled. He's not in great danger, but he's embarrassed all the major forces. The peak rank 3 powerhouses will keep making a move. Unless he can defeat all the rank 3 powerhouses, he'll definitely suffer if he loses. However, I have to say that people like Wang Jinyang are also a role model for our generation. He was born ordinary, and the martial arts university he went to was also an ordinary martial arts university. He was able to become rank 3 in his freshman year, start challenging powerhouses everywhere in his sophomore year, and push his way north. Just talking about it is inspiring. It is inspiring. It's a pity he didn't come to the south before Fong Ping could finish. Fu Changding laughed and said, "It's not like he hasn't been to the south before. I heard people say that he came to Magic City when he was peak rank 1 and defeated all the rank 1 students in Magic City. A rank 2 from East Sino Nation Normal University made a move, and in the end, he was disgraced and defeated. The other schools did not dare to let their rank 2 fight and embarrass themselves. It was not until he came to Magic City Martial Arts University that a rank 2 student made a move and injured him. Defeating all the rank 1 students in Magic City shows how domineering he is. Domineering? Fong Ping found it hard to associate the soft-spoken Old Wong with domineering. It was also hard to imagine that he had defeated all the rank 1 martial artists in Magic City. His impression of Old Wong was not weak, and he was a genius, but that was only relative to Nanjiang, not the whole of Sino Nation. However, he had defeated Magic City first, and now he was heading north, preparing to defeat all the rank 3 martial artists in the north. Was this something that could be described with just a little fame in Nanjiang? Fong Ping was deeply shocked. The scene of Old Wong carrying a saber and pushing his way through appeared in his mind, and he could not help but feel his blood boil. Fu Changding had been paying attention to Fong Ping. When he felt his vitality fluctuate, his pupils shrank slightly. Twice honed? No. Maybe even higher. 3 honed. Maybe not thrice honed, but he was definitely close to it. How did 2 young monsters come out of a rundown place like Sun City? Very quickly, Fong Ping calmed his vitality. He raised his head to look at Fu Changding and smiled. Classmate Fu, don't call me that. We're all classmates and neighbors. If it was a normal university, you could call me Old Fu, Old Chong, or Old Ding. Me? Old Elder? Old Ding? The corners of Fong Ping's eyes twitched. He laughed dryly. I'll call you Chongding then. You must be a martial artist now, right? Fu Changding did not deny it. He smiled brightly. I'm a martial artist, but being a martial artist doesn't mean anything. I may be rank 1, but if we were to fight, I might not be stronger than you, Fong Ping. You're too humble. What am I? I'm not even a martial artist. Fong Ping, let's not be humble. Fu Changding suddenly laughed. Now that we've entered a martial arts university, there's no need to hide it. This is just the beginning. There's not much meaning in differentiating between the strong and the weak. I'm here to see my new neighbor, and also to see how everyone is doing. I didn't expect to meet you so soon. Originally, I was a little proud, but now I realized that I was just a frog in a well. You should know about the afternoon gathering, right? I know. Fong Ping nodded. He could tell that Fu Changding knew more than he did. He could not help but ask, the gathering is to give a speech to the new students? Or is it the start of term ceremony? Both, and neither. Fu Changding smiled. He was not in a hurry to continue. Instead, he glanced at the room and smiled. You didn't prepare any water? Let's go. I see that you haven't bought anything yet. Let's talk as we walk. I'll buy something too. He did not want to get to know the other students. There was a student in room 86 whose vitality was higher than the average twice-honed. Geniuses were not everywhere. It was enough for him to get to know Fong Ping. Fong Ping did not refuse. He closed the door and walked out with Fu Chanding. As they walked, Fu Chanding said, "The afternoon gathering can be considered as a demonstration of our strength. Tomorrow, we'll enter the building of practical training and start choosing schools. Once we enter the building, though, everyone has to understand who they can and can't offend. The afternoon is the time for us to get to know each other. It's also the time for the instructors to observe how the students are doing, which students they're optimistic about, and who to focus on the next day. Everyone will be prepared today. Tomorrow, more than 1,000 people will be in the building. Even if there are surveillance cameras to observe, we still have to find good seedlings. So, during the afternoon gathering, show your strength to the fullest. Now is not the time to hide. A good instructor can save us a lot of time and energy." Fong Ping understood now. Simply put, they would pick out some of the best students in the afternoon. These people would be the focus of observation. Tomorrow, the instructors would observe them in depth. They would be able to see who had the talent to manage a team and who had the strongest combat ability. They would leave one night for everyone to prepare. This was probably a test of the students' ability to organize and judge. Whether someone would be able to organize a team of 10 or even 100 people in one night was a test of their ability. Judging who they could offend and who they could not offend was also very important. Li Qingzi said that there were 400 people, so there was no need for everyone to fight. However, if they did not show their strength, how would they be valued by the instructors? Fong Ping was almost certain that someone would challenge opponents of the same strength tomorrow. The choice of opponent would depend on their judgment. Defeating someone of the same strength would definitely be a bonus. If they stayed in the building and did not move just to secure a spot, even if they entered the school of weaponry, they would not be outstanding. After walking and chatting with Fu Chanding, the two of them arrived at the school supermarket. Although it was called the school supermarket, it was bigger than the hypermarkets outside. It was not too expensive either. After chatting with Fong Ping along the way, Fu Chanding felt that they were familiar with each other. He smiled and said, "Fong Ping, are you interested in going all out tomorrow?" "What do you mean?" "This time, there are 52 rank 1 martial artists and 9 twice-honed potential martial artists. Of course, there might be people who broke through during the summer break, but there won't be too many. After all, coming to the school saves a lot of resources. Those who have twice-honed can be considered to have just entered rank 1, right? 70 rank 1 martial artists. There are so many rank 1 martial artists. It's not good to not stand out. Opportunities only favor the strong and those who are prepared." Fong Ping asked in a low voice as he picked something, "What do you plan to do?" "I think my strength is passable, and my combat ability is not bad. Not all martial artists can fight." "What about you?" "I'm all right. I haven't really fought before, so I'm not sure." "You've cultivated combat techniques?" "Yes." "Then there's no problem. Most of these people don't cultivate combat techniques in order to break through as martial artists. After all, the early stage is for the sake of entering the university, not for actual combat." Fu Chanding knew that Fong Ping had cultivated combat techniques and was very satisfied. He said softly, "How about we team up tomorrow and challenge this group of martial artists?" "One for you, one for me. We'll take turns." Fu Chanding was very confident. He smiled and said, "One person won't do. Even if we all fight one-on-one, our vitality won't be able to recover and we won't be able to hold on. If it's 2 people, it'll be no problem. We'll go round by round and defeat all of them. Even if we lose in the end, we'll be famous. We won't have to worry about the instructors looking down on us. Let me tell you, the difference in strength between MCMU's instructors is huge. I don't care about rank 4 or rank 5. I want at least rank 6. There are strong and weak rank 6 instructors too. Some instructors are close to Grandmaster. If these peak master martial artists look up to you, you'll be shocked by the benefits." Fu Chanding said it casually, but Fong Ping was surprised. "Just the 2 of us?" "Yes. Who asked me to look up to you first?" Fong Ping did not know whether to laugh or cry. Could it not be so ambiguous? After thinking for a moment, Fong Ping asked, Do you know about the other martial artist students? No need. Rank 1 martial artists are just SOSO at most. I'll be honest. I'm a twice-honed rank 1, and now my right leg has been honed. If I wasn't confident, I wouldn't have dared to talk to anyone about this. A twice-honed, right leg honed. Such a person had the right to be proud. A twice-honed vitality would increase, which meant that one's explosive endurance was strong. Also, the bones in his body had been honed twice. His endurance and resistance were stronger than the average martial artist's. The leg bones were more lethal than the hand bones. This way, if Fu Changding's combat techniques were not weak and his strength was extremely strong, he would have no problem beating up a casual rank 2 martial artist. Fong Ping looked at him. After a while, he asked, "How's your recovery?" "Pills. I brought 3 rank 1 vitality pills. I'll finish them. Aren't you afraid that I'll drag you down?" Room 86. This means that I wasn't too strong during the assessment, but now I can't tell how strong I am. I'm willing to take a gamble. Okay. This time, it was Fu Changding's turn to be stunned. He laughed and said, "Looks like you're stronger and more confident than I thought. So, it's a deal? What if it gets surrounded?" "No way. Everyone's proud. Martial artists aren't easy to organize. At most, there'll be 3 to 5 people in a group. If there's such a group, we'll beat them up together." "Do you want to find 2 more people?" "No need. 2 people are enough. How can we show how special we are if there are more people? If it weren't for the fact that I don't have time to rest, it'd be better if I could take the lead alone." Fong Ping did not ask any more questions. After buying the items, he smiled faintly. "Let's give it a try then. I hope you're stronger than I thought. 70 people. Taking turns will kill you." Chapter 93. Since he and Fu Changding had agreed to do something big together, the 2 of them had become much closer. After putting the things they bought back into the dormitory, the 2 of them went downstairs to the cafeteria without knocking on the doors of other rooms. Magic City Martial Arts University had many cafeterias. There were 3 in the dormitory area alone. Fong Ping was a newbie. His understanding of MCMAU was limited. Although Fu Changding was also a new student, he knew a lot of things. On the way to the cafeteria, he explained, "In MCMAU, accommodation is free. Food is free too. These things are not worth much. MCMAU tries its best to let the students eat well and live well. Of course, these are free because the cost is low. In MCMAU, things that did not cost money were not expensive, but things that did cost money were frighteningly expensive. Elixirs, cultivation techniques, and weapons all require a fee. Of course, it doesn't have to be money. Academic credits will do as well." When Fong Ping heard this, he asked, "Do I have to pay for school fees?" Fu Changding did not expect Fong Ping to care about this. He smiled and said, "I'll take them in, but I'll have to wait until I've chosen my school. Each academy charges different fees, but they're all about the same, so it's not a big deal." "Oh!" As they spoke, the 2 of them arrived at the second canteen. MCMU's cafeteria was also very luxurious. The layout was similar to that of the Magic Martial Hotel's dining hall. It was not the kind of simple 4-seater tables with chairs. However, there was no waiter for you to order. Instead, it adopted a self-service mode, and you could order your own food. The food was good. Meat and vegetables were matched, and the aroma of the bone soup could be smelled from afar. There were also fruits and milk that could be freely used. Fu Changding explained to Fong Ping as he picked up the dishes. "These are just normal ingredients. They don't have much effect on replenishing vitality. They can only satisfy your appetite." Every cafeteria had a second floor. The second floor was a place where one could order food, including some medicinal cuisine that was very helpful in replenishing one's qi and blood. If the conditions allow it, it would be better for us to eat on the second floor. Even if a martial artist did not fight, they would expend a great deal of qi and blood during normal cultivation. It was impossible to use medicinal pills to recover every time. Most of the time, he used ingredients to supplement himself. Fong Ping suspected that Fu Changding would have gone to the second floor if he had not ordered the dishes as soon as he entered. With one look, One could tell that this fellow did not come from an ordinary family. Of course, this was also nonsense. A twice-honed martial artist did not use any school resources. Even if the cost was not in the tens of millions, it would still be in the millions. Money was not the key. To be able to become a rank 1 martial artist, there would usually be a rank 4 or above martial artist in their family. Therefore, none of the new martial artists were easy to deal with. The two of them got their food and picked an inconspicuous place to sit down. Fu Chanting was not in the mood to eat. He looked around and sighed after a while. There's actually another reason why I'm not going to Capital City Martial Arts University. He had long heard that there were many beauties in the South. But up until now, I haven't seen many girls, and all I've seen are Sai. Fu Chanting was a little disappointed. It was not that there were no girls in the cafeteria, but there were not many of them. After looking around, there were barely any that caught his eye. Looks like I can only wait for the afternoon assembly. After all, only a few people come to the cafeteria to eat now. After interacting with Fu Chanting for a while, Fong Ping realized that the latter was a little talkative. He was the only one talking, regardless of whether you responded or not. At first glance, he thought that he was an elegant young master. Now that he looked at it, it was true that his family background was not bad, but he was clearly not reserved. Of course, it also depended on the person. Soon, Fong Ping found out that Fu Chanting was not just a chatterbox. When he returned to the dormitory after eating, the door to room 85 was open. As his next-door neighbor, Fong Ping passed by and stood in the corridor to greet him. After a brief conversation with the slightly effeminate guy, he found out his name, Cui Jiayun. The other party was not too enthusiastic and was rather calm. Fong Ping said a few words and did not say anything else. Fu Chanting, who had been extremely enthusiastic to Fong Ping, also introduced himself mildly before remaining silent. He was enthusiastic to Fong Ping because he did not see through him at first glance. Cui Jiayun, on the other hand, was seen through immediately. His vitality should have exceeded 150 calories, but it was definitely not at 180 calories. It was hard to say if someone who was not twice-honed could achieve that. An aspiring martial artist like this was very far away from Fu Chanting. The other party was not too enthusiastic, so naturally, Fu Chanting would not say much. 2:30 p.m. Fong Ping was tidying up his room when Fu Chanting's voice came from outside the door. Fong Ping, it's time to assemble. Coming. Fong Ping answered. He tidied up, opened the door, and walked out. At that moment, Fu Chanting was not the only one in the corridor. There were 100 students living upstairs, and many of them had left their rooms. They did not interact much. At most, they would gather and chat with the 2 or 3 people next door like Fu Chanting and Fong Ping. It was the first day of school, and no one was prepared, so it was impossible to make friends. Fong Ping had just come out when he heard a loud laugh from his right. Fu Chanting, what a coincidence. You're here too. Fong Ping turned his head and saw a well-built, tall boy staring at Fu Chanting. From the tone of his voice, it did not seem like it was between friends. Fu Chanting did not seem surprised. He already knew that this person was at Magic City Martial Arts University. He tilted his head and smiled faintly. Tang Songting, you didn't go to Capital City Martial Arts University, but came to Magic City Martial Arts University to be tortured? Haha, it's not up to you, Fu Chanting, to decide whether I'm tortured or not. Tang Songting huffed lightly and said in an unfriendly tone, it's good that you came to Magic City Martial Arts University. I was afraid you wouldn't come. You sure talk big. Fu Chanting snorted and ignored him. He tilted his head and said to Fong Ping, I'm a high school classmate. He's been suppressed by me for 3 years. He thinks he can turn things around just because he scored a few more points than me in his cultural studies during the Gaokao. Isn't that funny? He did not wait for Fong Ping to reply. He strode forward and said, let's go. This kind of person becomes arrogant once he succeeds. There's no need to pay attention to him. His voice was not soft. It was obvious that Fu Chanting did not intend to say it as a private matter. Tang Songting, who was nearby, heard it too. His expression changed. He and Fu Chanting attended the same high school, which was also one of the most famous high schools in Capital City. Fu Changding was not lying when he said that he had suppressed him for 3 years. Capital cities' high schools were different from Sun City No. 1 high school. The pressure of competition there was higher, and there were all kinds of pills as rewards. There was also a professional martial arts class. There were monthly assessments, and if the results were good, the rewards were generous. Tang Songting and Fu Changding were the best of the best. Both of them had fallen out many times over the pills. They had really fallen out. Even for families like theirs, the rewards from the school were worth fighting for. The fact that Fu Changding could become a rank 1 martial artist at this age, and a twice-on martial artist at that, had a lot to do with the rewards from the high school. Tang Songting was slightly weaker than Fu Changding, but during the Gaokao, he did better than Fu Changding in his cultural studies and general studies. He was assigned room number 8, which was much closer to the front than Fu Changding. Even so, Tang Songting did not think that he could suppress Fu Changding. He might lose, but he would not lose. Seeing Fu Changding walk past him without even looking at him, Tang Songting snorted coldly. "We'll see. I'll wait for you." Fu Changding did not care about him at all. During the Gaokao, he had just become a martial artist and had not honed his bones. During the holidays, he had finished honing his right leg, and his left leg was almost there. As for Tang Songting, in order to become a martial artist, he had broken through in a hurry before he had reached twice honing. Even if he had also finished honing a limb, Fu Changding would not take it too seriously. In fact, among the 52 martial artists in MCMAU this time, there were no more than 10 who were twice honed. That was for sure. Maybe even fewer. There were also very few who had completed the honing of a limb after twice honing. Fu Changding was not afraid of anyone. The others heard the tense conversation between the two, but no one expressed their opinion. They were just there to watch the show and to keep an eye on Fu Changding and Tang Songting. These two, one in room number 8 and the other in room number 15, were both martial artists. There was not much difference between the first 50 rooms. Everyone was a martial artist, and the exam did not test them on actual combat. The actual allocation of rooms was based on the results of cultural studies and other aspects, which did not mean much. Martial artists who scored high in cultural studies would be ranked higher. The students in room number 1 might not be stronger than the students in room number 50 in actual combat. After number 50, there were also martial artists and twice-honed students. However, these people had either broken through to martial artists not long ago, or they had not broken through to twice-honed. Although their status was similar to that of martial artists, they were still slightly weaker than martial artists in a real fight. Among the group of geniuses, everyone naturally paid attention to those who were more talented. Fong Ping stayed in room number 86, which was near the back, so not many people paid attention to him. There was no point in being high-profile at this time. Other than wasting time with words, there was no benefit. If they really wanted to show off, they should be in front of the instructors and school leaders. These people controlled the school's allocation of resources and could benefit from them. There were no idiots among MCMAU students, and Tang Songting was no exception. He had provoked Fu Changding out of habit. He and Fu Changding had been enemies for years, and he could not help himself when he saw him. After Fu Changding left, Tang Songting did not say anything and walked downstairs quietly. The others saw that there was no more drama to watch, so they all walked toward Field 1. Field 1. MCMAU's field was huge, and there were spectator seats. Fong Ping and the other new students had not arrived yet, but there were already many people in the spectator seats. There were teachers and students. As the new students arrived in 2s and 3s, someone in the spectator seats laughed softly. "Last year, we were treated like monkeys. This year, we finally got to enjoy watching a monkey show. It's not bad." "Shut up, you." Keep an eye out for good seedlings among the new students. See if you can recruit them into the club. The person who spoke earlier pursed his lips and pointed to a few people not far away. "The people from the Martial Arts Society are here too. We won't get the good seedlings. They'll pick the leftovers." At the mention of the Martial Arts Society, everyone fell silent. Their gazes could not help but turn to the few people not far away. Not far away. Qin Fengqing was a little impatient. He crossed his arms in front of his chest and frowned. "I'm honing my torso. Can't you just recruit new students? Why must I do it? Is the president afraid that I'll finish honing my torso and challenge his position? Is he purposely interrupting my honing? Sitting next to him was a pretty girl. She chuckled when she heard what he said. Tell that to the president. I asked you to come because you're the only one of the vice presidents in school. Most of the other rank 3 members aren't in school either. You just finished your mission. You should rest for a few days. Don't cultivate all day. That's not good. Nonsense. Qin Fengqing scolded. His tone was slightly irritated. I think the president is just jealous of me. If you say so. But the president has already achieved rank 4. Are you sure the president is afraid of you? Rank 4. Qin Fengqing pouted and muttered. What's so great about rank 4? I'll achieve rank 4 soon too. Qin Fengqing did not argue with her. His tone was still irritated. Do you know about Wang Jinyang? At the mention of Wang Jinyang, the few people from the Martial Arts Society fell silent. The girl who spoke earlier gritted her teeth and said impatiently, I know. That bastard is very arrogant now. It's best if I don't meet him. Qin Fengqing said irritably, Don't brag. Don't think that he won't beat you up just because you're a woman. It's like you weren't the one who was beaten black and blue last time. Motherf asterisk her. I was preparing to find him after I finished honing my torso. Now that guy is sweeping through the rank 3 martial artists in the north, the president is still looking for something for me to do. If I have the ability, I'll beat up Wang first and then kill the president. Cough, cough, cough. The few people beside him coughed hurriedly, reminding old Qin not to talk nonsense. Wang Jinyang was a public enemy. It was fine if he said it. The president was a middle-ranked martial artist and the big brother of the Martial Arts Society. If the president found out, he would definitely teach Qin Fengqing a lesson in the name of learning from each other. Meanwhile, the girl who was exposed glared at him and said angrily, I'll definitely tell the president about this. Go ahead. You only know how to suck up to the president. If you weren't having an affair with the president, I'd beat you up until your face is swollen. Qin Fengqing. The girl was angry and anxious. She said shyly, Who's having an affair with the president? Qin Fengqing curled his lips and said, Do you really think I'm blind? Tisk. I saw through the two of them flirting with each other. I don't know what's wrong with your eyes. How could you like someone as ugly as the president? Isn't he just a rank 4? Even a rank 4 can't deny the fact that he's ugly. You can't find a good-looking guy. You just have to find an ugly one. Shut up. The one who said this was not the girl, nor was it anyone else. It was definitely not the president they were talking about. Instead, it was a female instructor beside him. Seeing that Qin Fengqing's words were getting more and more out of hand, the instructor scolded him and snorted softly. Qin Fengqing, since you're here, just watch quietly. If you say any more nonsense, I'll throw you out. Qin Fengqing looked embarrassed. He laughed dryly and said, I'll stop. I didn't see Teacher Min here. If I knew you were here, would I have said this? Everyone knows that Teacher Min has a whole new level of respect for our president. Minyu stared at him dangerously. She said lightly, Continue. Cough, cough. I have nothing to say. Qin Fengqing felt a dangerous aura. He quickly sat up straight and said solemnly, The new students have entered. Seeing that he had changed the topic, everyone breathed a sigh of relief. It was fine if old Qin was crazily courting death. If they allowed him to continue, they might be buried with him. Chapter 94. Field 1. Students gathered in groups of 2s and 3s. Those who came alone were mostly new students from District 1. In the other dormitory areas, groups of 4 were mostly from District 4, and groups of 3 were mostly from District 3. Fang Ping walked around. After a while, he thought of an important question and asked, How are the girls arranged? There were only 4 dormitories for new students. Where did the girls live? Fu Chanding asked curiously. You didn't see them? What? There are girls in District 1. Fu Chanding was shocked. What's with that look? Or do these girls look too much like men? Zone 2, Zone 3, and Zone 4 have girls living together. Zone 1 has single rooms, and the girls live alone. Martial arts universities don't differentiate between male and female dormitories. On one hand, there are fewer people, and on the other hand, martial artists don't care about trifles. Sometimes, when there are missions, guys and girls are mixed. Usually, they discuss missions and exchange cultivation experiences. It's more convenient if they're on the same level. Fong Ping was shocked. Is that so? I really didn't notice. If the girls in District 1 know about this, they'll probably fight you to the death. Fu Chanding was speechless. He had seen girls when he went downstairs earlier, but Fong Ping had not noticed. Although the ones he saw were average, they had breasts. What kind of lousy eyes did Fong Ping have? Fong Ping was slightly embarrassed. He really did not notice. The main reason was that there were too few girls in District 1. Moreover, it was fast to go downstairs from the second floor, so he did not pay attention. When he saw the girls downstairs, he did not expect them to live in District 1 as well. MCMU really did not care about trifles. They actually mixed guys and girls. Young people at that age were full of hormones. Was it reliable to mix guys and girls? As Fong Ping thought about it, Fu Chanding seemed to read his mind. He chuckled. It's a test. What? A test of determination. Martial artists need to be able to withstand loneliness. It's not like you haven't cultivated before, so you should understand. Our time is tight. We have the methods of honing, pole standing, combat techniques, and cultural classes. MCMAU's cultural classes are the same as normal universities. Not only do they have them, but they have even more. You can imagine how busy we are and how tight our time is. You still have the mood to talk about love? If you spend too much time on this, you'll fall behind others in the next few years. Did he really think that having a girlfriend would give him motivation? It takes up a lot of your time, and the others are not weaker than you. When you rest, the others are working hard. As time goes on, you will naturally become the last. Fong Ping laughed and said, even if the school wants to test us, shouldn't they arrange for some good-looking girls? With the current situation, I'm not in the mood at all. I give it to you. You sure have guts. Most of the girls in District 1 were martial artists. One could imagine how much more effort the girls had put in compared to the boys to become martial artists. These girls were not weak and frail. If Fong Ping dared to tease them like this, he would not be surprised if he met a stronger one and got beaten black and blue. Fu Chanding thought about it and agreed. That's true. No wonder the school isn't worried about us being obsessed with women. But it's strange. I remember that I know quite a few female geniuses, and they're all quite beautiful. Why haven't I met any of them this time? Female martial artists all came from good families. They ate well and took good care of themselves. There were many beauties in rich families. This was not a lie. Beauties were related to one's innate conditions, as well as their acquired environment. No matter how beautiful a girl was, if she did not have enough to eat and wear warm clothes, her skin would be rough, and her skin would be tanned. If she did not deal with the little pimples in time, after a long time, she would become ugly. Rich families were different. Their temperament, outlook, attire, and diet, all of these would affect them. As long as they had a good foundation, they would not be too ugly, unless their foundation was terrible. Also, rich families would marry beautiful women to improve their genes. After generations, their genes would improve as well. Fong Ping did not comment on Fu Chanding's words. This guy looked impatient earlier. Did he look like someone who had seen beautiful women before? As the two of them chatted, it was already 3 o'clock. On the rostrum, a square-faced, middle-aged man suddenly shouted, "Line up." The field was full of students. There were no teachers or seniors to guide them. When the man shouted, "Line up," everyone was confused at first. Then, they lined up in 2s and 3s. The lines were uneven, and some students were still standing outside the line chatting. No one reprimanded them, and no one came down to guide them. 3 minutes later, the square-faced man shouted again, "It's time to assemble. 20 credits will be deducted for those who arrive late or do not join the line. Seal the gate." As soon as the words, "seal the gate," were said, a few students in training clothes quickly closed the metal mesh gate in front of the field. As for the students who were still outside the line, they all hurriedly ran into the line. At this moment, the square-faced man shouted coldly, "Stay where you are. This shout was accompanied by a suffocating pressure of chi and blood. Field 1 was huge. It was so big that thousands of people only occupied a small space in the middle. The man stood on the rostrum, more than 10 meters away from them. Those at the back were hundreds of meters away from him. Even so, when the man unleashed his vitality, the entire field seemed to be filled with a thick vitality. All the students stopped in their tracks, not daring to move. It was as if they would be smashed to pieces if they moved. So strong. Among the crowd, Fong Ping was secretly shocked. What kind of strength was this? He had seen rank 3 martial artists before. If their vitality outburst could affect the surrounding 10 meters, it would be considered good. He had not seen middle-ranked martial artists before, but according to Fong Ping's analysis, being able to affect 50 meters was already very strong. The effect mentioned here was only when one's vitality was boiling, and one could feel it. This kind of pressure, which could suppress thousands of students at once, was simply unimaginably strong. Fong Ping could even imagine that a powerhouse like this facing a regular army, just the vitality pressure alone would make many people lose their combat effectiveness, not daring to move at all. Hello, students. Let me introduce myself. I'm Huang Jing, the Dean of the School of Weaponry. The square-faced man did not use a loudspeaker or a microphone, but his words seemed to be spoken right beside everyone's ears. The Vice-Chancellor is not in school, and the 2 Vice-Chancellors have important matters to attend to. Today, I'll be hosting the new student ceremony. Fong Ping understood what he meant. Other than the 3 Vice-Chancellors, the Dean of the School of Weaponry had the highest position in MCMEU, possibly in terms of strength. According to Wang Jinyang, MCMEU had a total of 4 Grandmaster powerhouses. Was this Dean of the School of Weaponry one of the 4 Grandmaster powerhouses? After all, according to Fong Ping's understanding, the School of Weaponry was MCMEU's most important school. The first thing I want to teach everyone after entering MCMEU is to obey the rules. Assemble at 3. That means 3. There's no room for negotiation. For those who don't show up, those who arrive late, and those who don't line up according to the rules, 20 credits will be deducted. 20 credits. That's killing us? Someone in the crowd discussed in a low voice. It was obvious that they had some understanding of MCMEU's situation. Huang Jing seemed to have heard this too. He said lightly, maybe some people don't understand how important MCMEU's credits are. Let me put it simply. In MCMEU, 3 credits can be exchanged for a normal vitality pill. 10 credits can be exchanged for a rank 1 vitality pill. You can think of 1 credit as 10,000 in cash, or 30,000 in the outside world. This is because MCMEU's exchange rate is about 1/3 of the market price. At this moment, even Fong Ping could not help but be shocked. Did this not mean that 20 credits could be exchanged for 2 rank 1 vitality pills? The market price was as high as 600,000. MCMEU promises that cultivation before rank 1 will be free. On the stage, Huang Jing continued, but this is not unlimited. All new students have 50 credits, which is all the cultivation resources before rank 1. 50 credits could be exchanged for 5 rank 1 vitality pills. The market price was 1.5 million. To be able to give students 50 credits for free was definitely not a small amount. However, when he thought of some people who had been deducted 20 credits on their first day, Fong Ping could not help but look around sympathetically. There were many people who did not line up. There were at least 100 of them. Those who did not show up or were late could be seen in the tens of people standing outside the iron gates, looking as if they had lost their parents. These people lost at the starting line unless their families were rich and did not care. In the audience seats, Qin Fengqin curled his lips. The dean is still so talkative. What's the point of explaining? Let the new students die. Shut up. Instructor Minyu scolded. Was this guy crazy? Did he think the dean could not hear him? Slandering him was one thing, but the president of the Martial Arts Society did not even mention him. Now, he even dared to slander the Grandmaster-level dean of the School of Weaponry. This was not the way to die. The others quickly distanced themselves from Qin Fengqin. Had this guy gone mad from the blow? He was less than 30 meters away from a grandmaster, yet he dared to talk trash. He would probably be in trouble later, right? Yes, based on their understanding of Dean Huang, it was very possible. The truth was as expected. On the rostrum, Huang Jing glanced at Qin Fengqing with a meaningful look in his eyes. Very good. Recently, he had been complaining that MCMAU had been too low-key. That kid from Nanjiang Martial Arts University dared to conquer the North. It was not impossible to let Qin Fengqing try. In the audience seats, Qin Fengqing shuddered. What a strong, malicious intent, the kind that was full of it. Huang Jing did not care about the students who had their credits deducted. He continued in a clear voice, MCMAU was founded not long ago. It has been 59 years since then. In these 59 years, MCMAU has produced countless students. They shed their blood and shed their lives to build the MCMAU that it is today. That's how you are now. Entering MCMAU is not for you to enjoy life, nor is it for you to be superior to others. In MCMAU, the first thing you must understand is that you will only reap what you put in. What is a martial artist? It's not bullying the weak. It's not bullying the market. It's not being a political broker. Martial artists are the protectors of this city, this country, this world. We are great, but also insignificant. It can also be said to be tragic. You don't understand now, and you don't need to understand. One day, you will understand that entering MCMAU is not the beginning of your life's peak, but the beginning of a tragedy. However, since you are not willing to be ordinary and nameless, then you should be prepared for this. Since you have entered a martial arts university, you must learn to fight. Fight to become stronger and more outstanding. Opportunities are always given to those who are prepared. Huang Jing's voice echoed throughout the entire field. MCMAU does not have too many formalities, but it does not mean that there are no rules. The rules that should be obeyed must be obeyed. Similarly, MCMAU will also give everyone a chance to perform. When it is time to perform, learn to show yourself. The entrance ceremony is not complicated. It is very simple. Everyone get to know each other. The instructors know the students, and the students know the instructors. In MCMAU, the way to get to know each other is also very simple. As Huang Jing spoke, he turned to the side and said, on the stage, there are now 12 instructors from the 4 major schools. Everyone, let's get to know the students that you will be teaching. As soon as Huang Jing's voice fell, a man in his 40s with thick eyebrows and big eyes walked out from behind him. As soon as the man walked out, a thick vitality force floated above his head. Vaguely, a smear of blood red could be seen. School of Weaponry, new student instructor, Tang Feng. Following that, another person walked out and said lightly, School of Weaponry, new student instructor, Luo Yichuan. School of Tactics and Strategy, new student instructor, Zhou Shiping. School of Social Sciences, new student instructor, Chu Xi. Everyone's vitality force was not restrained. When the 12 instructors' vitality force erupted, the new students below the stage all flushed red. Some even showed signs of losing their balance. The 12 instructors unleashed their vitality and scrupulously oppressing the students. The new students who were not martial artists found it difficult to breathe and quickly retreated. As for the new students who had reached the martial artist realm, or those who had honed their bones twice, they stood still with serious expressions. Fu Changding, who was standing beside Fang Ping, said in a low voice, the instructors have introduced themselves. It's our turn now. Huang Jing had mentioned before that this was the time for the students to get to know the instructors, and it was also the time for the instructors to get to know the students and introduce themselves. As soon as Fu Changding finished speaking, Fang Ping unleashed his vitality and walked forward against the pressure. At this moment, it was not just Fang Ping. Many others made the same choice. MCMU new student, Zhao Lei. MCMU new student, Yang Xiaoman. MCMU new student, Fang Ping. MCMU new student, Fu Changding. A series of self-introductions rang out. Not every martial artist could withstand the pressure of 12 instructors and open their mouths. A few martial artists had just taken a step forward when they opened their mouths and began to deflate. Their vitality wavered, and they had to take a few steps back to avoid embarrassing themselves. In the end, There were less than 20 students who could stand in front and introduce themselves. At this moment, everyone could feel the difference between them. In the auditorium, Qin Fengqing raised his eyebrows slightly and murmured, "Fong Ping seems familiar." On the rostrum, a middle-aged woman behind Huang Jing chuckled. 16 martial artists who have completed a limb honed, and 2 martial artists who have honed their bones twice. What's more interesting is there's a potential martial artist who has honed his bones thrice. Which family's descendant is he from? Fong Ping, East Lake Fong family? Liu Yu Fong family? Huang Jing said lightly. MCMU educates without discrimination. It doesn't matter which family he's from, if he can achieve thrice honing before enrolling. That's his own good fortune. That's different. I have a grudge against that guy from East Lake. I won't nurture a descendant for him. The woman chuckled and said softly, "I'll look up the information later. It's fine as long as he's not from the East Lake old man's family. I'll pay more attention to this little guy tomorrow." The other instructors did not say anything. It was useless to say it now. They would know tomorrow. Moreover, although thrice honing was not bad, it was not very useful to rely on useless materials that were thrown at him by countless medicinal herbs. At most, it would be faster before he entered the middle ranks. MCMAU had no shortage of middle-rank martial artists. P.S. My body is much better now. Thank you for your concern. I'll make some adjustments and strive for more updates. I'll resume normal updates in a few days. I only asked for leave yesterday. I did not intend to act pitiful or cheat anyone. I won't thank all the brothers who tipped me. Chapter 95. In front of the field, the 19 freshmen unscrupulously unleashed their peak chi blood. The other students retreated. Some looked indignant, while others were dejected. Everyone who entered MCMU was proud. No one would think that they were weak. Being able to enter MCMU meant that they were geniuses, superior to others. However, at this moment, under the pressure of the 12 instructors, only these 19 students could announce their names in front of the thousands of students. In front of the crowd, Fong Ping looked around. He was still a little shocked. Including him, there were 19 people. Other than the 2 twice-honed martial artists whose vitality was slightly lower than his, the others were not weaker than him. One had to know that his vitality had already reached 209 calories. Back then, peak rank 1 Tan Jinping only had a vitality of 250 calories when he unleashed his full strength. Tan Jinping's lower limbs had been completely honed, and he had maintained it at rank 1 for decades. Regardless of his actual combat strength, Tan Jinping's vitality was definitely not low among rank 1 martial artists. Although none of the 19 new students in MCMAU had reached peak rank 1. How old were they? Each of them had a vitality of more than 200 calories. Some of them had cultivated combat techniques, and their actual combat strength was much stronger than Tan Jinping's. This was MCMAU. Fu Chanding was observing from the side. When he saw that so many people had withstood the pressure, he rolled his eyes and suddenly shouted, "Fong Ping, you're an aspiring martial artist, and yet you've held out until now. I've underestimated you." Fong Ping saw him winking at him and immediately understood what he meant. He could not help but feel embarrassed and ashamed. Yes, so ashamed. Seeing that Fu Chanding was so anxious that he wanted to beat someone up, Fong Ping could only say dryly, "Fu Chanding, you're not simple either. You're a twice-honed martial artist. You've actually finished honing one of your limbs." "Same here. Fong Ping, be honest. Are you a thrice-honed martial artist?" "Fu Chanding, do you want to make a guess?" "Fong Ping, I won't guess. It's not convenient for us to fight today. Otherwise, I'd definitely show you my power." Fu Chanding, Fong Ping, Fu Chanding, Fong Ping. With the two's reminder, everyone knew that there were 2 celebrities among the grade 08 new students. One was Fong Ping, and the other was Fu Chanding. One was suspected to be thrice-honed, while the other was a twice-honed martial artist who had already finished honing one of his limbs. In the auditorium, many of the older students were dumbfounded. The girl beside Qin Fengqing was also convulsing with laughter. She couldn't help but say, "These 2 new students are interesting. The whole school should know about them now." Whenever the 2 of them spoke, They would call each other's names. Was there a need to do this to a normal conversation? Everyone understood his intentions at a glance. Many people were laughing, but Qin Fengqing snorted coldly and said, "Idiot, what are you laughing at?" Enduring the vitality outburst of 12 middle-rank martial artists, chatting with vigor, "You bunch of idiots actually have the guts to laugh." Qin Fengqing didn't care about offending anyone. Even the instructors beside him were mocked by him. A bunch of idiots. Don't forget, there were only 2 new students over there. With 12 middle-ranked martial artists and other students' vitality outbursts, they were having a great time chatting. Are the other students idiots? Did they not understand? But now, out of the 17 people, how many of them could really open their mouths to chat? The 2 twice-honed, aspiring martial artists were already sweating profusely. It looked like they couldn't hold on any longer. If they opened their mouths now, they would be disheartened and embarrassed. Even if the others were slightly better, there was a limit to how well they could do. Would they dare to chat freely? As soon as he said that, many people reacted immediately. Soon, someone remembered the main topic and asked immediately, "This Fong Ping, is he thrice-honed? He's not a martial artist?" When Fong Ping's vitality outburst earlier, these people thought that he was a martial artist. Now, after hearing Fu Chanding's words, everyone knew that he was not. Nonsense. Qin Fengqing sneered again, then mumbled, "I remember now." He remembered now. Was this not the new student he met at the school gate a month ago? At that time, he sensed that the other party's vitality was not low. He was definitely twice-honed. However, he did not expect that the other party was not twice-honed but thrice-honed. It was not rare to see twice-honed in MCMAU, but thrice-honed was really rare. Currently, in MCMAU, only sophomore CLA was thrice-honed and was currently at peak rank 2. Qin Fengqing did not care about peak rank 2. Once CLA broke through to rank 3, he would be Qin Fengqing's rival. Even now, CLA could still fight with average rank 3 martial artists, winning and losing. On the rostrum, a few of the instructors showed a hint of amusement in their eyes. MCMAU did not care about the students playing petty tricks. Martial artists had to compete and try their best to show off. Both Fu Chanding and Fong Ping were within the rules. Since it was within the rules, it was in line with MCMU's style. The School of Weaponry instructor, Tang Feng, suddenly frowned. "These 2 students are playing to the gallery. We can't accept students like them." "That's right." Someone immediately agreed. "Thrice-honing is nothing. We just don't want to waste time and resources to cultivate them. It's a waste of time." "That's right. These 2 new students think they're proud of themselves. In fact, this kind of playing to the gallery behavior is the most unacceptable." "That's right. These people like to cheat and take shortcuts in the future. We can't accept them." Everyone reprimanded them one after another. The woman who said that she wanted to do some research suddenly laughed. "Since all of you don't like them, I'll reluctantly accept them." "Shameless. Who said we won't accept them? We need to guide students like them." "That's right." Huang Jing felt a headache coming on. A bunch of idiots. Why did they have to show off their intelligence? If they liked them, then so be it. Why did they have to belittle them to the point of being useless? Did they think that everyone else was as stupid as them and would take their words seriously? Ignoring their argument, Huang Jing said lightly, "We're only looking at vitality now. It doesn't mean anything. Vitality can be cultivated, but some things have to depend on oneself. If we only look at vitality, then what's the point of organizing the Gaokao in the future? We might as well just end it with a physical assessment." His words reminded all the instructors that vitality was not the only factor in choosing students. IQ, strategy, and actual combat were all indispensable. Before this, no one had said who they wanted to choose. Later, they decided to choose Fong Ping and Fu Chanding because they felt that these 2 little fellows did not lack IQ. Although this method of expression was immature, at this moment they could stand out. It did not matter how they did it. Out of the 19 people, the other students probably only remembered these 2 at the moment. The names Fong Ping and Fu Chanding had been repeated too many times. It was impossible not to remember them. While the others were discussing, Fong Ping was extremely embarrassed. Fu Changding called out his name again, but Fong Ping refused to answer even if he was beaten to death. Thousands of students were looking at them. There were also instructors and older students around them. If he continued calling out, Fong Ping would really lose his courage. Fu Changding actually felt that it was about time. Fong Ping did not answer, so Fu Changding could only howl dryly. Fong Ping, Fu Changding will fight with you tomorrow. Shameless, many people cursed in their hearts. Fight with you? Do you really think that everyone can't tell that you're acting as a duo? When Huang Jing saw that it was about time, he said, everyone must have gotten to know each other today. Many people looked resentful. They really did not know each other. They only knew these two shameless people. They had almost forgotten the dean's name. Huang Jing ignored them and continued, if that's the case, then today's admission ceremony will end here. Tomorrow, we'll assign the schools and instructors. Students, remember today's lesson. Those who are late or fail to arrive will have 30 credits deducted. 20 credits deducted today and 30 tomorrow. Once it happened twice, they would all be deducted. Who would dare to repeat the same mistake? There were only so many resources before rank 1. Unless you earned it yourself, the free resources would be gone. After saying that, Huang Jing did not linger. He quickly turned around and left. The other instructors also remembered the students they were supposed to observe. They did not linger and left one after another. The instructors who could go on stage were not weaklings. Among them, the lowest was rank 5, and the highest was peak rank 6. As for the audience below the stage, they were a mix of good and bad. Some of the instructors were rank 4. After the people on stage left, the instructors below the stage did not wait to watch the actual battle the next day. Many people chose to leave the stage and enter the field. Student Fong Ping, I'm Li Yaohua, the instructor for new students in the School of Weaponry. I'm peak rank 4 and will soon enter rank 5. After the demonstration, Fong Ping received an invitation from the instructors. Fong Ping, who was thrice honed, was worth their investment regardless of his actual battle ability. You can choose me for the assignment of instructors tomorrow. Of course, my ability is relatively weaker than the instructors on stage just now. However, they are not just instructors for new students. Most of them already have students under their names. Some have more than 10 students under their names, and some have more than 10. I'm different. I just became an instructor at Magic City Martial Arts University last year. I've been on mission since the beginning of this year and have just returned to school. The instructor named Li Yaohua spoke very sincerely. He had not accepted any students yet. This year was also his first time accepting students. He was about to break through to rank 5, so his ability was not too weak. As the first student in his first batch, Fong Ping would have been the first disciple in the past. One could imagine the benefits he would receive. Fong Ping was actually quite touched that a middle-rank powerhouse wanted to accept him as a student in such a sincere tone. However, being touched could not be eaten. Rank 4 was rank 4, and rank 6 was rank 6. Moreover, the instructor had not taught any students before. Fong Ping did not dare to agree. After politely declining the instructor's invitation, Li Yaohua did not force the issue, even though he felt a little regretful. He continued to discuss with another twice-honed martial artist. When accepting students, everyone had to see eye to eye and accept each other wholeheartedly. Forcing someone to become a student was not only not an investment, but it would also cause trouble for oneself. The instructors did not want to do such a thankless job. Seeing that another instructor had come over, Fong Ping and Fu Changding looked at each other and hurried out. An instructor had also been negotiating with Fu Changding earlier. After leaving the field, Fu Changding breathed a sigh of relief and said immediately, "We must enter the School of Weaponry. I've asked around about the School of Weaponry this year. Instructor Tang Feng is the strongest among the new instructors this year. Instructor Tang Feng is at peak rank 6. People call him Mad Lion. He's extremely violent when he fights. He's good with fists and kicks, but his weapon is slightly weaker. Instructor Luo Yichuan, who is also at peak rank 6, is also a good choice. Instructor Luo is good with spears, not hot weapons but cold weapons. His Luo family spear is also famous in the martial arts world. Instructor by Ruashi, who is good with long swords, is also a good choice. Instructor by Ruashi is a peak rank 5, but she's so pretty. She's only in her 30s this year, and she takes good care of herself. This kind of mature and charming female instructor is simply the best in the world. It's a pity that her swordsmanship doesn't really suit me. Fu Chanding knew MCMU's new student instructors like the back of his hand. He reported 7 to 8 of them in a row, the lowest of which was at rank 5. In the School of Weaponry, there were only 5 freshman instructors who had reached rank 6. Most of the others were rank 5, and a small portion were rank 4. Other academies, on the other hand, had more rank for instructors. In the School of Social Sciences, most of the instructors were rank 4. There were even a few rank 5 instructors. In the end, Fu Chanding asked, Fong Ping, "Who are you going to choose?" Fong Ping pondered for a moment before saying, "Instructor Tang Fong or Instructor Su Jianzhou?" "Instructor Su?" Fu Chanding was a little surprised. He said, although Instructor Su is also a rank 6, he just broke through rank 6 not long ago. He didn't show up this time either. "Why did you choose Instructor Su?" Instructor Tang Fong is good at punching and kicking, while Instructor Su is good at saber techniques. He feels that saber techniques are easier to practice. That's true. However, it's only relatively easy to practice. It's not that easy to master it. I'm going to choose Mentor Luo each one. Fong Ping was surprised. "You're learning the spear? An inch longer, an inch stronger. It's safer to learn the spear." Fu Chanding explained, then said in a low voice, "Today, other than the 2 of us, there are 17 other people. We don't have to consider the 2 twice-honed ones. The other 15 will be our strong opponents tomorrow. However, I have to say, you hit it well. You're actually a thrice-honed." Fong Ping chuckled. "I didn't hide it, did I? That's not enough? During your Gaokao test, you definitely didn't hone your bones twice. It's only been 4 months, and you've already honed your bones thrice. That's unexpected. It's just luck." Fu Chanding laughed. "I don't care if it's luck or not. That's how martial arts are. Some walk fast while others walk slowly. Some walk far, while others stop very quickly. I'm not envious of you being thrice honed. If I wanted to, I could do it too. Unfortunately, it's not worth it. On the contrary, I'm very happy. It looks like we have a higher chance of winning tomorrow. As long as we defeat these people tomorrow, we can choose any instructor we want. Who knows, the dean might be tempted and come to take us in personally." Fong Ping shook his head. "The dean might not be suitable for us. He's so busy, he won't have time to teach us newbies. Being strong doesn't mean that he can teach the students well. Rank 6 is enough." "That's true." Fu Chanding nodded. He turned his head to look at the few people beside him. They were also top students who had escaped. Among them was Tang Songting. There were also 3 girls. They had never seen these 3 girls before. One of them was average-looking, while the other 2 were not bad-looking. Fu Chanding said in a low voice, "We're lucky. 1 for you, 1 for me. The one on the left that looks valiant and heroic is yours, and the one on the right is mine." "Ha!" Fong Ping politely declined. It was their first time meeting, so he was not in the mood to pick up girls. Moreover, these girls looked like they wanted to eat them up. Fong Ping did not want to be tortured. Chapter 96. On the first day of school, all the freshmen who were supposed to be famous were already famous. Among them, Fu Chanding and Fong Ping were the most prosperous. Magic City Martial Arts University Martial Arts Society. In the meeting room, President Zhang Yu leaned back in his chair and asked tiredly, "Are there any good seedlings?" "Yes, the quality of the new students this year is not bad. There are a total of 58 martial artists, 8 twice-honed, and 1 thrice-honed. Among the martial artists, there were a total of 4 people who had broken through by twice-honing, and they had already finished honing one of their limbs. The quality is very high." The one who spoke was the girl who Qin Fengqing had previously mocked for having an affair with Zhang Yu. Qin Fengqing didn't say a word and lowered his head to look at the information. Zhang Yu glanced at him and said softly, There's a thrice-honed freshman? Yes, his name is Fong Ping. His Gaokao results were okay, 149 calories. I didn't expect him to be thrice-honed. If it wasn't for someone revealing it, I would have thought that he had broken through to become a martial artist. Obviously, breaking through to become a martial artist was much easier than being thrice-honed. Fools, only you can't see it. Qin Fengqing lowered his head and cursed, then continued to look at the information in his hands. After being scolded several times in a row, no matter how good her character was, she could not take it anymore. Zhou Yin said angrily, Qin Fengqing, you saw through it from the beginning? Of course, Qin Fengqing admitted it directly. As for the scene where he met Fong Ping in front of the gate, he would never admit it even if he was beaten to death. Do you think we'll believe you? Zhou Yin snorted and said angrily, be careful. It's fine if I can't beat you, but you scolded the president, Teacher Min, the dean, and that Wang Jinyang. One of these people will definitely take care of you. Qin Fengqing lifted his head and sneered. Who am I afraid of? When Wang Jinyang wiped out the Magic City Rank 1, he didn't even dare to make a move. Only I, Qin Fengqing, dare to. That's why I, Qin Fengqing, am a first-rank sophomore and a third-rank junior. I'm not talented enough. I don't have enough resources. I'm lacking in everything, but I don't lack courage. You, Zhou Yin said angrily. You're being unreasonable. TSK, little woman, you only know how to complain. Qin Fengqing disdained to do such a thing. Qin Fengqing, enough. Zhang Yu rubbed his forehead, feeling a headache coming on. Don't keep talking about these things all day. You should keep your mouth shut. Otherwise, you will suffer sooner or later. Tisk, Qin Fengqing snorted disdainfully and said indifferently. Even if you lose, you don't lose. Even if you can't win, you can still scold. Scolding is also a kind of skill. Zhang Yu's face darkened. After a while, he said, enough of this nonsense. This time we can recruit a few new students. The 4 twice-honed martial artists, the thrice-honed Fong Ping, and the other twice-honed martial artists can all be considered. As for the other regular rank 1 martial artists, Zhang Yu completely ignored them. These people were not weak now, but that was only when compared to the new students. They were insignificant in MCMAU, and they might not even be able to achieve rank 3 after graduation. On the contrary, the twice-honed prospective martial artists had a higher probability of achieving rank 3. Qin Fengqing didn't continue the conversation. He suddenly slammed the table and said angrily, I was wondering why it sounded so familiar. Right now, he was holding Fong Ping's information in his hands. Nanjiang Sun City No. 1 High School. Qin Fengqing ignored the president's recruitment and raised his head to ask, where's Wang Jinyang from? Zhang Yu frowned and said, what do you want? Just tell me where he's from. You're the president, not my dad. Why do you have so many questions? Zhang Yu said softly, Qin Fengqing, stop making a scene. Do you want to try entering the combat room? Qin Fengqing was slightly embarrassed. He said dryly, I'm just asking where he's from. If you know, then tell me. If you don't, then forget it. Is it fun to always use rank 4 to pressure people? A rank for president was not someone he could challenge. Once he entered the combat room, he would come out with a pig's head. The new students had just arrived, and the president wanted him to recruit new students. Recruiting people with a pig's head would be utterly humiliating. Zhang Yu snorted softly. Zhou Yin and the others were all smiles. Who asked you to be so arrogant? Now you admit defeat. Zhang Yu did not argue with him. After some thought, he said, I think he's from Nanjiang Sun City. Which high school? I don't remember, but they're usually from No. 1 High School. Nanjiang Sun City No. 1 High School. Qin Fengqing's gaze changed. He gritted his teeth and said, I'll handle Fong Ping's recruitment this time. Zhou Yin said immediately, President, Fong Ping is from Nanjiang Sun City No. 1 High School. Qin Fengqing can't beat Wang Jinyang, so he's going to take it out on his juniors. Shut up, Qin Fengqing said angrily. I'll go and ask about the situation. Who would bully the weak? Do you think I'll use my rank to bully people? Zhang Yu's expression darkened slightly. How did the Martial Arts Society recruit such a thing? If it were not for the fact that the other vice presidents were not around and he himself was busy, he would not have let Qin Fengqing be in charge of the recruitment. Now that he was in charge, there was no reason to replace him halfway. Exhaling softly, Zhang Yu said, "You can go, but remember, don't break the martial arts society's rules. If you break the rules, even if Wang Jinyang doesn't come looking for you, I won't let you go." I know. How annoying, Qin Fengqing replied impatiently. He laughed a little sloppily and walked out of the conference room with Fang Ping's information. After he left, Zhou Yin asked worriedly, "President, he won't mess around, will he?" "He won't." Zhang Yu shook his head. Qin Fengqing still had his pride. Even if Fang Ping and Wang Jinyang were from the same school, it was nothing. Even if he vented his anger on Fang Ping, this was not how he should vent his anger. Of course, if he knew that Fang Ping and Wang Jinyang were not simply from the same school, then it would be hard to say. As he said that, Zhang Yu sighed softly. "I'll be in closed-door cultivation soon. I won't be out much. You guys keep an eye on me." Closed-door cultivation, everyone frowned. It was not that martial artists did not go into closed-door cultivation, but they rarely did so. Most of them went on missions and cultivated and improved during the missions. Zhang Yu had not entered rank 4 for long. Suddenly going into closed-door cultivation was obviously not to break through to rank 5. Then what was the purpose of the closed-door cultivation? Zhang Yu did not explain. Back then, Wang Jinyang was defeated in Magic City. He did not lose because of his strength, but because Magic City bullied the weak. As a rank 2 martial artist, he injured the other party. Now, Wang Jinyang was rank 3 and was challenging rank 3 Northland. Perhaps he would reach rank 4 soon. He chose to challenge and break through in the Northland. Once he did, Zhang Yu suspected that he would go south to Magic City. And Magic City Martial Arts University was his first choice. Nanjiang's Governor-General Zhang had broken through to rank 7. He urgently needed to prove his strength. Not only his own strength, but also the strength of the martial arts students in the country. With Wang Jinyang as the vanguard, Governor-General Zhang could not wait for someone like him to stir up trouble. He would give him the greatest support. The president of Nanjiang Martial Arts Society had defeated the president of Magic City Martial Arts University's Martial Arts Society. Not only could he take revenge, he could also make Nanjiang Martial Arts University famous. Was Zhang Yu not the best stepping stone? Now, if he fought Wang Jinyang, he would definitely win. However, it was hard to say if he faced a rank for Wang Jinyang. Wang Jinyang's trip to the Northland was not over yet. Zhang Yu planned to go into closed-door cultivation to cultivate powerful combat techniques, just in case. Qin Fengqing accepted the recruitment mission. Zhang Yu went into closed-door cultivation to prepare for Wang Jinyang's breakthrough. Naturally, Fang Ping did not know any of this. Old Wang had turned off his phone recently. Knowing that he was challenging powerhouses, Fang Ping did not continue to call to ask. Right now, Fang Ping had started his own cultivation right after he had finished his dinner. It had been more than 10 days since he had honed his bones thrice. At this time, Fang Ping's strength had improved again. Wealth 210,000 vitality. 207 calories, 209 calories, mentality, 208 hertz, 210 hertz. His vitality and mentality had improved, but Fang Ping felt that his body had reached its limit, the limit of a thrice honed. Unless he continued to hone his bones and nourish his body, this vitality would be his limit. However, he had already used up all of the body-strengthening elixir. He did not know when he would need to hone his bones again, so he had no intention of continuing. After the assignment of mentors in the academy was completed tomorrow, he was prepared to apply for a breakthrough. At this time, Fang Ping was not cultivating anything else. He was practicing pole standing. He had just achieved a breakthrough to the firm stance 2 days ago. He was still familiarizing himself with his pole standing in case something unexpected happened the next day. His stance was solid, or at least that was what Fang Ping thought. He was already showing signs of becoming a roly-poly toy. While Fang Ping was cultivating, the second floor of Area 1 was also very quiet. Everyone was adjusting their state of mind. Fong Ping and Fu Chanding had taken the lead today. Although everyone was unhappy, the fact that the two of them could still talk and laugh in that situation proved their strength. If they really wanted to impress the crowd, they would have been looked down upon long ago. Students who did not know what was going on might think that, but as the leaders of Area 1, no one would have guessed their strength. Out of the 19 people who had withstood the pressure, less than 5 of them had the energy to speak, other than Fong Ping and his team. Even these 5 people might not have been as relaxed as Fong Ping and his team. Otherwise, they would not have remained silent. Today was only a vitality competition. Tomorrow was the main event. Compared to upstairs, the people downstairs in Area 1 were much more relaxed. Many people visited each other, calling out to go out for a meal. Guosheng was one of them. When little fatty Guosheng asked if they wanted to invite Fong Ping along, the rest of them looked surprised. After a simple inquiry, they found out that the two of them had only met once in the morning. Everyone immediately dismissed the idea. Fu Chanding was a thrice-honed potential martial artist. He would definitely not come out tonight. Did this fatty know what tomorrow meant? It did not matter to them, but to the people upstairs it mattered a lot. Whether the instructor chose you, or you chose the instructor, or if you were left behind and had no choice but to be assigned to the instructor, the difference would be obvious tomorrow. The little fatty did not understand these things at all. This made many people sigh. F***CK. How did this guy get into Magic City Martial Arts University? At the same time, Capital City Grand Hotel. Wang Jinyang leaned on the sofa and watched TV, his expression relaxed. Beside him, NMU's vice-chancellor was a little anxious. He asked, "Jinyang, are you confident tomorrow?" "I don't know." The vice-chancellor was speechless. After a while, he said, "Chen Feng has been ranked 3 for a long time. If he hadn't broken his left hand in the catacombs, he would have broken through to rank for long ago. Even so, his combat awareness, experience, and reflexes have all reached rank 4. Once his left hand recovers, he'll be rank 4 immediately. Aren't you going to prepare?" "No need. I need this kind of opponent." Wang Jinyang was calm and composed. He smiled and said, "I'll wait a little longer. After challenging Chen Feng, I'll go to Capital City Martial Arts University. I should be about rank 4 by then." "Vice-Chancellor, you won't stop me from getting rank for resources this time, will you?" The Vice-Chancellor laughed and said, "You're NMAU's face now. The Vice-Chancellor said that you get priority. Of course, you'll have to return it in the future. After all, martial arts universities have limited resources. We can't break the rules just for you." "I understand. An advance payment will be enough." Wang Jinyang smiled and said, "Tomorrow is the time when all the martial arts schools are divided into schools?" "Yes. At this time last year, you weren't too outstanding." "I didn't expect," the vice-chancellor sighed. When Wang Jinyang first went to NMAU, he was not too outstanding either. At least, he was not too outstanding during the division. Of course, relatively speaking, he was still quite good. That was why a rank 5 instructor like Zhang Qingnan had taken a liking to him. In NMU, a rank 5 instructor was definitely not weak. He was at the top of the hierarchy. At that time, everyone thought that Zhang Qingnan had made a mistake. However, Wang Jinyang's stamina was too strong. He reached his limit in 3 months and became twice honed in 2 months. In less than half a year, he broke through rank 1. After rank 1, he quickly reached peak and made a name for himself in Magic City. The free resources provided by the school allowed him to break through rank 2. Unexpectedly, 3 months later, Wang Jinyang had reached peak rank 2. This time, he did not use the resources provided by the school. He got enough cultivation resources from somewhere and broke through rank 3 in one go. Rank 3 in a year. This was a legend in NMAU. However, since Zhang Qingnan's disappearance, Wang Jinyang seemed to have a burst of energy. Under crazy cultivation, he quickly finished honing his torso. Now he was moving toward rank 4. If he could really break through during this time, he could barely be considered to have achieved rank 4 in a year. Such a person from NMAU was so shocking that everyone's jaws dropped. Now, even the Vice-Chancellor and Governor-General Zhang had high hopes for him. They hoped that Wang Jinyang would become another exemplary figure in Nanjiang. The vice-chancellor was really worried that Wang Jinyang would lose. Physical injury was a small matter, but the key was psychological. Wang Jinyang did not care much about the vice-chancellor's concern. He muttered, "They're divided into schools. I wonder what kind of instructor that kid will get. I'll go take a look after some time. I hope he doesn't embarrass me." Old Wang felt that Fang Ping was half a student of his. If it was too embarrassing, he would not be able to keep his face. However, he was too busy now. He did not have time to care about this. It seemed like he did not care about tomorrow's opponent, but in reality, Wang Jinyang had already rehearsed the details of tomorrow's fight. The next day, 2nd of September, after a night of recovery, Fang Ping's spirit and vitality were full. He went to the cafeteria and ate until he was 70% full. Then he walked slowly to the building of practical combat training. Behind him, Fu Changding was holding a wax spear without a head. He was testing it out, not saying a word. Beside him, a few martial artists were also carrying their own weapons. Someone muttered, "I wonder if I can bring this into the arena." The other normal students, on the other hand, were filled with anticipation and confusion. They could clearly feel the tension in the air, but they did not know where it came from. Guisheng saw Fang Ping. He wanted to greet him, but when he saw that Fang Ping was not looking at him, he had to give up. Little Fatty felt wronged. He said in a low voice, "MCMAU is not humane at all." At least, that was what he thought. He didn't have any roommates, nor did he have the legendary distinction between the eldest and the second eldest. He didn't see any beauties, and there wasn't anyone who would put their arms around his shoulder and share snacks with him. Fang Ping, the first student he met after school, did not seem to be as easy to talk to as he had imagined. This made Guisheng a little disappointed. "Is this MCMAU? You're tuning in to the Warrior Lore YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.